How did this turn into this and this? Oh my god. As I was literally about to press the record button, I double checked my phone to make sure I had all the videos in place so we could go over them, talk about it. I open up Brooke's TikTok and she just posted her reaction to Clinton Kane's response. I had not realized Clinton Kane responded. We're gonna be going through those parts together. That timing is impeccable. I literally can't believe it. Anyway, hey guys, what's up? So like I was saying, I wanted to talk about the Brooke Schofield and Clinton Kane drama. Also, I am so sorry, but I think there have been times where I have said Brooke Schofield and it's Schofield, and I apologize for that. That is my bad. There's a lot that is going on in that relationship and I want to know about it. Let's back up a little bit though. I knew who Brooke was, but honest to God, had no idea who Clinton Kane was. Never heard the name. Apparently he came out with a song a few years ago called Chicken Tendies that blew up, and he has some slow songs that people have used as their like first dance songs to their wedding. So I hope that's not ruined for them. But when Brooke first posted about it and basically was like, hey, let me give you the tea, I like to know all about that stuff. I'm gonna be real, guys. It's my kryptonite. I need to know. Like, no, I do not know who Clinton Kane is. Yes, I need to know everything that is coming out of your mouth. I need to know right now. And I was so immensely captivated that I was like, actually, let's put all this stuff together and let's talk about it. So that's what we're doing now. I suppose together we'll be able to go through Clinton Kane's response for the first time, because I have not gone through all of his videos. I had not expected the response to come when I'm about to film. But anyway, let's start from the beginning. So I told you who Clinton Kane was. If you don't know who Brooke Schofield is, she does a podcast with Tana Mojo that is very popular. It's called Cancelled. She's a very beautiful woman and very successful, and honestly, that's kind of all you need to know. So let's get into it. A little bit ago, Brooke posted a 13 or 14 part series on TikTok exposing her relationship that she had with Clinton Kane. And this all came about from a single TikTok that Clinton had posted. Now, what TikTok did he post that triggered this, do you ask? Let me show you. So the music is playing in the background and the caption reads, "When you've been over the relationship for 2 years, but she won't stop yapping." Now, after hearing Brooke's POV about all of this, I too would not stop yapping if this happened to me. But that is what triggered it, is this simple TikTok promoting his song, but he had to put that caption. That was like the initial butterfly effect, if you will. And there are some comments on that video that just really made me laugh. TikTok comments are wonderful, particularly this one. "I bet his parents are proud and alive." Now, if you don't know anything about the situation, that doesn't make sense yet, but it will. Alright, so Brooke then responds to this. She uses the snippet of his song. It's the caption, again, that starts everything. And she writes, "The rage bait is working. Please stream this song. All proceeds go to his mom." Now let's learn why she would say that.
Part 1. Who the fuck did I marry? No, seriously, part 1. Who the fuck did I marry? I am trying to be a little bit less psycho on TikTok because obviously I had my little meltdown the other day and that was probably like enough for this week. But when I opened my phone today to a million texts from all my friends of this TikTok that Clinton Kane had posted saying, what did he say? He said like, "When I've been over the relationship for 2 years and she just can't stop yapping about it," which, first of all, hilarious. Like, no shit, I can't stop yapping. But the nerve. Now, obviously, we broke up 2 years ago, okay?
Let's stop right there. Clinton's harping on the fact that she won't shut up about it, which I talk about the same stories with friends over and over again. I've probably told them the same stories how many times, and that's just how it goes. So I don't know why he would just expect her to shut up about it, especially since the relationship turned out this bad. Anyway, I digress. Let's continue.
That was a very, very different time in my life. I was, first of all, unmedicated, okay? And that is a very, very important factor in this story because I get so many comments that are like, "Brooke, what on earth were you going through?" And I agree. I really don't know. That was a different girl. I was bamboozled. Now, I get a lot of comments about his appearance and the way he shakes, okay? And those are two things that I'm gonna leave off limits for my story time because I feel like that's low-hanging fruit and it's obvious it doesn't even need to be addressed.
Since I didn't know who Clinton Kane was, I also did not first understand what she was talking about when she referenced his shaking, but this is what the Clinton Kane shake looks like, I guess. And similarly to Brooke, I'm not going to comment on that. That is what she was referring to. I showed you it. Go to your own conclusions. Let's continue.
Believe it or not, that was not even really the problem. The fact of the matter is I ended up in a relationship with this man because I was a fan, honestly. I knew of him because of his music. I loved his song Chicken Tendies or whatever. Tana and I would literally blast it on a loop at our old house and like we were obsessed with it, okay? So randomly one day I get a DM from this artist. It's Kane. And I remember telling Tana like, oh my God, like how funny, he just messaged me. And he starts just like asking me questions, whatever. And he asks if I want to go to dinner. And I'm like, I'm looking at his profile and I don't know if I want to go to dinner, okay? But I'm replying anyway, and he asks, he's like, what about tomorrow? I'll fly you to Vegas. I go, what the fuck? I didn't know he lived in Vegas. So I say no, and that's the end of that.
Maybe I'm just out of that realm. Obviously, I'm out of that realm. I do not live a life remotely like either Clinton or Brooke, but sliding into her DMs and immediately being like, I'll fly you out to Vegas seems so incredibly sketch to me. I don't know if I would be comfortable with that.
Okay, part 2, who the fuck did I marry? Like I said, he lived in Vegas, so I obviously was not going to go to dinner with him because he's a stranger, okay?
I can't imagine inviting somebody out who I had only slid into the DMs. I haven't done anything else. I'm like, I'll fly you over to me. How about that? After we haven't really had any conversation. That's scary. Stranger danger.
But he persisted, all right? Of course, of the next few months, he would slide up on all my stories, message me constantly. Some would call him obsessed, honestly. But what am I gonna do? I'm not gonna fly to meet a stranger, okay? But one day I get a DM where he says, hey, I have a show tomorrow in LA, like, would you wanna come? And again, I loved his music, so I was like, absolutely, I will definitely come, because it's like, that's so much less pressure. I don't wanna go to dinner with this man. Like I said, I saw his profile, but I wanna see the show. So I ask Bibi to come with me and we get ready to go, okay? Remember so specifically the outfit that I wore, because again, this guy has been messaging me so much online that I'm like, I know he like loves me. So I wore the ugliest outfit you could find. Like,
I find that so hilarious. She was truly trying to ward him off, I guess. Wore the ugliest outfit ever. But at least to me, if you felt that way, that you needed to use an ugly outfit as a defense mechanism, then maybe you shouldn't have gone in the first place. It is what it is now, right? But that is quite funny that that's how she was like, all right, he's super into me. I know what will fix this. An ugly outfit. Let's go. Which, hey, also I do truly wonder how often he was messaging her. I mean, she said every day, but like how many times every day? Because that almost seems like you have crossed past the line of persistence and now you're into, yeah, obsession and just too far. You know, take a hint, but clearly he did not do that. Anyway, the show.
Bibi knows, I said it to her, I was like, I just want like to look as unattractive like to him as possible, because I just don't want that to be the vibes, all right? She and I go to dinner and we go to the show. It's amazing, okay? He was amazing. I don't know what's happened since then, but he was slaying at the time. After the show, we go upstairs. I think he was at like El Rey Theater or something. And everybody's like mingling. A few of my friends were there. I remember Max and Cover were there. Markel was there. One of my best friends, Justin Horowitz, was there. Like, I was like mingling with friends, and he like came over to me and started talking to me, whatever. And we like hit it off. And I'm gonna tell you guys something that you might not believe, but he looked really good, honestly. He was way taller than I thought, and he had a really cool outfit on, and I was like, you know what?
Brooke keeps trying to defend herself in her, I guess, taste for being into him or attracted to him, and like, Brooke, there's no shame. If you were into him, he was your type, whatever, that's fine. That's fine. You've since learned that he is an ugly person, not because of his looks, but because of his behavior. But at the time, if you were into him, okay, you were into him. Sounds good. There's no reason to be defensive.
So we end the night. I go home. Nothing happens. And he texts me after the show, and he's like, would you want to come back tomorrow? And I had an amazing time. I like loved the show, so I was like, you know what? I'll go back. Amari also loved his music, so I texted Amari, and I was like, would you want to come? Would you want to come with me to see Clinton Kane tomorrow? And whatever. I bring Amari the next day, okay? Same show. We do the same thing after, and then Amari and I go back on his bus, okay? And honestly, we had such a good time. Like, we're like cracking up on the bus. We're with a bunch of friends. Amari's having the best time. I'm having the best time. He's funny. He's cool. He's like charismatic. I'm like, you know what? Like, maybe he's not that bad, okay? We all get off the bus and go to the club. We all get super drunk, and me and him end up like making out. We're like very much together at the club, and that was the start of something very horrible.
So now she's interested. The relationship is really about to begin. Yeah, just as an FYI, there are many parts. We're in it for the long haul. Let's see it all.
Okay, part 3, who the fuck did I marry? All right, so after the club, he and I went alone to a little diner in LA called Mel's Diner. It's 24 hours. You can go after the club, get fries, shakes, whatever. And he and I order literally every single thing on the menu, and we sit there for like 4 hours and just talk, okay? And this is the point where he tells me about what had happened to him in the year prior, all right? This would have been, I guess, 2020, like during COVID, okay? He tells me his mom, his dad, and his brother all died in the same year.
This is why I said that comment was important. Apparently, 3 major family members all died in the same year. I can't even fathom having that many in the same year all gone. Like, that would be so traumatic, right? So now Clinton has officially sparked the sympathy card with Brooke. But again, let's remember, all 3 of those family members have died in 1 year, that same year. Let's remember that.
Which is fucking horrible. Like, obviously just unimaginable.
For real.
So I'm like blown away. I knew that his mom had died because he had openly talked about like how one of his songs was about her and stuff, but I had no idea about the rest of his family. So I was like, holy shit, first of all. And I feel like I completely changed my opinion about him because I'm like, at this point, I'm thinking he's just like this weirdo sliding into my DMs, and now he's very like human to me because I'm like, oh my God, I cannot believe you could overcome something like that. Like, that's insane. This is very important to the story, okay? Because I need you guys to understand how I ended up in this scenario, all right? Then he starts telling me how he got into music. He's telling me how he was homeless and he would backpack around Europe, like literally sleep on benches and busk, like in parks, to make money. And he got discovered, whatever. And then obviously, I guess I'm in Love came out and he was really successful from that song. But I'm just looking at this guy like, I have never met anybody like you. Because first of all, I could never be touring a year after like that kind of extreme tragedy, first of all. Second of all, you would never catch me dead sleeping on a bench on purpose. So I was like, this guy's really like special.
Clinton Kane's circumstances all sound insane, of having to do what she described to get money before he finally blows up, and yet he's still touring after a major tragedy. Like, sounds like he's truly persevering and going to make a name for himself. He's going to make it big, right? Wrong, but you know, we don't know that yet. Next part.
Okay, part 4, who the fuck did I marry? Okay, so we had this whole night at this diner. We talked forever, and I got to know a lot about him, okay? He told me all about how he had grown up in Australia, in Perth, Australia.
That is another important aspect to all of this. Remember that Brooke just said, that Clinton said he grew up in Perth, Australia. He is from Australia and therefore has an Australian accent. Let's remember that.
He talked about how he grew up like super wealthy in like an 8-bedroom house on the beach in Australia. His mom was a pastor. He said she was a pastor at Hillsong United, which is like one of the biggest churches, I guess, in Australia. I don't know. He studied medicine, which I loved because I was like technically pre-med when I was in college also. I didn't graduate, but it doesn't matter. So I was like, oh my God, we have that in common. Like, this is like a really well-rounded, like amazing guy, okay? And like I said, he doesn't live in LA. So the next night he calls me and he's like, listen, I have a date planned for us. I'm picking you up at 8, whatever. And he does, okay? We go on this date. It's like a beautiful restaurant, whatever. We have the best time. We talk forever. We go to the beach, yada, yada. I go home. And the next day, he calls me and he says, I am so sorry and I'm so afraid to tell you, but I just got on set for my music video and I tested positive for COVID. obviously I had just like had this whole extravagant date with him the night before, I would 100% have COVID. We were like making out on the beach the whole night, which is like traumatizing but true.
From Brooke's perspective, if I were her, I would be thankful that he had the strength to tell me that he had COVID, because I've been around people who had tested positive but didn't want to admit that, and then later got other people sick and just didn't want to take the blame or anything like that. Whereas he actually called her and said, hey, I tested positive, you probably have COVID too, all of that. But after you hear more of the story, it definitely feels like he did not have COVID. You'll understand why shortly.
Okay, so I'm like, this man gave me COVID. And he's like, there's nothing I can do. I'm so sorry, but like, obviously we both have it. So I'm quarantining at the one hotel if you want to come and stay with me. So I was like, I mean, like, fuck, like I have COVID now. I have 2 roommates. Like, guess I gotta go. I don't know. Again, unmedicated.
And that's why it seems very suspicious. It seems like he just wanted to spend time with Brooke.
I show up to the hotel, okay? And I move in with the man. Part 5, who the fuck did I marry, okay? So I'm at the one hotel, one of the most beautiful hotels in all of Los Angeles, okay? It's like several $1,000s a night for like a nice room. So I'm living the life. We're ordering room service every night. We're just having so much fun. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe I date this guy. Keep in mind, we are not separating, so I have no opportunity to view his online presence, all right? Because that is another really important factor to the story, because had I seen the shaking that was occurring, I might have thought differently. Okay? But he's in person, he's really normal, he's charismatic, he's Australian, he's a beautiful musician, he's singing to me and playing guitar every night. I'm like, you know what? I'm falling for him, okay? I know, but you asked. As more time passes, we eventually move to like an Airbnb in Marina del Rey because he wanted to be by the beach. And so we go over there. And this man is not allowing me to go home.
By not allowing her to go home, she doesn't mean like physically she has been restrained to the bed. She cannot leave. It's more like anytime she wanted a moment to herself or, you know, to step away and have her own time, Clinton would come up with something, some reason for her to have to stay and continue to stay and never leave him.
Okay, this was the first major red flag. Like if I had a morning where I was like, okay, like I want to go home and like get new clothes and shower and like just be a human and be alone for a second, he would immediately like shut down. Like, why don't you want to be with me? Why would you want to go home? Can I come with you? Like, just very strange. And I did not like that.
And that right there, why don't you want to be with me? Her needing new clothes and wanting a shower has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with not wanting to be with you. It has nothing to do with you. It does not concern you. She wants fresh clothes and she wants a shower. Where do you fall into that picture?
A normal person would have seen this as like a big, major, like, no in a relationship, okay? But I am not a normal person. So I was like, he wants to be with me all the time. He is obsessed with me. Of course. You know what I mean?
This is where I definitely differ from Brooke. I have to have alone time. If I don't have a designated time to just chill by myself, I feel like I go insane. I have to have time. So her thought process is so very interesting to me, because her being like, oh, well, he's just obsessed with me. So like, that's so cute. And he really loves me. Him constantly deflecting on why I couldn't leave would absolutely infuriate me. And I would probably get to such a bad state of a mood that he would want me to leave, because I can't, like, I have to have some reset, recharge, like decompression time that's for myself. And if he was there the whole time, no, absolutely not.
Unfortunately, I believed it was a good thing at the time, all right? And I had a bunch of people in my ear. I had like mutual friends. Like Zach Sang was a really important one too, okay? We were all hanging out together all the time, and when Clinton like maybe wasn't around, I would have these people in my ear like, Brooke, if you do not date this man, you are so stupid. Like, first of all, he's gonna be huge. He's so talented. He's so special. He has like the most amazing story. Like, you have to date him, okay? And one thing about me is I'm easily influenced. So I start dating them.
It's good to be self-aware if you're easily influenced, you know? But at the same time, besides people being in her ear, there had to be like a small percentage of her that did want to be with him. I mean, the recording stopped. We're back. Honestly, I don't even remember where I was in my train of thought, so let's go to the next part.
Part 6, who the fuck did I marry? Okay, we are now in a committed relationship, all right? And one thing about Clinton is he loved to go on a trip, all right? He wanted to get me as far away from everybody else as possible.
Another red flag. Not the wanting to go on trips part. The wanting to keep Brooke all to himself and not around anybody else part. That's the red flag. Because it definitely sounds like he does not want Brooke to be influenced by anybody else. Because then they might tell her, hey, this is really weird that he's acting this way. Are you sure you should be in this relationship with him? And the thought of her leaving, this definitely just seems like he's using the guise of wanting to travel, but really he just wants her all to himself.
So this time it was Joshua Tree. He's like, let's go to Joshua Tree. Let's just spend the weekend. It'll be so relaxing, amazing, whatever. We can work. Great. On the way there, we get pulled over. In his car, he drove a Model X at the time. And when the cop asked for a license and registration, he gave his license, his Australian license, and he gave the registration to the car, which was not his. Not his car. So I thought that was strange. And then the cop is like reciting his information back to him, and he says, you were born in 1999.
This is important.
I am under the impression that my boyfriend is a year younger than me, okay? And this would make him like 4 years younger than me.
He lied to her about his age. Because similarly to Brooke, if I knew that this guy that I was potentially interested in was that much younger than me, I also would not want to be in a relationship with them, because that's too much of a gap for me. Like right now, the thought of dating somebody who is, in their very early 20s, nope. I've passed that age frame. Nope. And in order to get with Brooke, he lied to her. I would be so upset if I was her.
I'm like, that's really strange. But we keep going, and I ask him about it, and he's like, oh, like, that's a fake ID. I got it mixed up. We got lucky.
That was a fake ID. So you're telling me he went out of his way to get a fake ID to make him appear younger? Usually, fake IDs are there so you can look older, not younger, which Brooke also notes. We came to a very similar conclusion that was fucking weird.
And I'm in my head like, that doesn't happen, but whatever. Also, who has a fake ID to appear younger? Anyway, we go to Joshua Tree, and we have this whole little trip, whatever. We're barbecuing and hot tubbing and having this whole little couples vacation, okay? And everything is going perfect until the nighttime, all right? And this is when we had our first major blowout fight, all right? This is a very important turning point because our entire relationship was blowout fights, okay? But what's important about them is that they were literally out of thin air.
Another red flag. I'm trusting Brooke in the fact that these were truly blowout fights. I'm assuming they're like crazy screaming matches, just can't get a word in edgewise. It's not really a discussion. It's truly just a yelling match. And having them appear out of thin air, how did this happen? Out of thin air? That's not normal. That's not normal. And if these blowout fights are as bad as she implies, that's also not normal.
So this one was because we're eating our dinner that we made, okay? And I am looking at my phone, okay? Keep in mind, I'm not at a family dinner. We are on a couples retreat where we have spent every single second together for the past 48 hours. Why would I not be allowed to look at my phone? This is when he proceeded to tell me it's a major trigger of his for someone to not pay 100% attention to him at dinner time, because that's what his mom used to do to him, all right? And his mom was very neglectful. He had a horrible relationship with her, and it was really traumatic. Obviously, everything is unresolved since she has died, and so anything that reminds him of his mother is a no.
What an insane red flag. As Brooke just talked about, they had spent 48 hours together. 48 hours, non-stop. She looks away for a second to use her phone, and it causes a blowout fight. And if this truly was a significant major trigger for him, wouldn't you think he would have brought it up to her of like, hey, there are certain behaviors that really set me off. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to work through them. It's still unresolved. I'm trying my best, but these are some things that can kind of set me off. And just like, you would think they would have a conversation about this if this really was the case, but instead, no. Immediate blowout fight because she looked at her phone for just a second.
And he went insane. I tell you, I have never seen a man like just pout and throw like a literal tantrum this way. I was like, how do I undo? I cannot be in a relationship with this man.
Also, her immediately being so thrown off by his tantrum that she's like, I can't be in a relationship with this man. You know it had to have been bad. Because if she was going on all these trips with him, they're spending, 48 hours nonstop divided attention. They're with each other all the time. They're having the best of time. And this tantrum is immediately enough for her to be like, oh my gosh, I gotta get out of here. You know it had to have been bad. And seeing a grown man throw a temper tantrum just sounds awful in general.
Part 7, you guys. He said she can't stop yapping. I'm like, I will show you yapping, okay? So we just had our first major blowout fight, all right? And this is when I first found out like how he behaves in an argument, which was like a child. Like literally you could not talk any sense into him. It was so irrational, and it was just like you could not get through to him. There was no like compromise. It was like you just had to apologize, even though he was so unbelievably wrong every single time. Oh my God, it was infuriating. And the overwhelming common theme of all of our arguments was that I was worsening his trauma, and he can't believe that I'm so insensitive to everything that he has been through.
There's another problem here. Because why is he blaming Brooke for worsening his trauma? Why is it 100% her fault? Especially that first time around, she obviously had no idea that was a trigger for him. He never communicated that. And then I'm sure it was other very, very small things that set him off. And somehow it is completely Brooke's fault. His trauma is significantly worsening, and she's just so uncaring about him that she would do that to him. What? All around, I understand why she seems so frustrated and that he does sound irrational, because he does. What do you mean? How is this all Brooke's fault?
I remind him so much of his mother, who was so horrible to him, and I should be way more sensitive to everything that he is going through. And of course, I'm like, I get that. You know what I mean? Like, the man lost 3 family members in 1 year. I'm like, he is going through a lot, so I have to give him like a little bit of grace.
And Brooke sounds like she's being so nice. She's sticking with the relationship. It is one of those sticky situations where, similarly, if I was in her shoes, I would also be like, man, I do have to give him some grace, because a tragedy like that, losing 3 family members in 1 year, like that does have to change a person. It must be so difficult. And I do understand where she's coming from for that, because it does feel like you gotta give some grace here. And yet, from the sounds of it, it sounds like she can't do anything right.
But it became a situation where I felt like I was like mothering this man, and like if I did anything wrong, or if I like literally split my attention for even 1 second, he went ballistic, because he was like a little infant baby child. I want to be sensitive to his situation, but it was like way too much for me to handle, because I'm already, you guys know, I'm emotionally unstable, okay? And I have no business fixing whatever was like seriously very wrong with him.
And that's another good sign that Brooke didn't take it as her personal duty to be, I guess, to take the role of his therapist and be like, I have to fix him. That's good that she had some self-awareness to know that this is not my place. This is something that he does need to work through, but I'm not the professional capable of doing it.
I would go out with my friends. Like, I remember one night I was at dinner with Tana, and he's blowing me up, like literally sending me novels about how he drank an entire 5th of vodka, he's gonna drive, I need to get to him right now, or he's gonna do crazy things. Like, it was just so manipulative, and I just like, I was not equipped.
And here we are again. She apparently cannot leave him alone at all. He's using other tactics to force her to be by his side. So no, I guess he didn't, restrain her and lock her inside a house and keep her there as if she were in jail or something. But he is very clearly trying to manipulate her into never leaving him alone ever, apparently.
Part 8, I think. I am honestly not sure. I'm just trying not to spare you any details. So I'm in my relationship with my little baby man child, and he still lives in Vegas, okay? So we are technically in a long distance relationship, but we never separate. So either I'm in Vegas staying with him, or he is living with me. Or we'd get like an Airbnb in Marina Del Rey, whatever, it doesn't matter. We are never separating. And at this time, his album was about to come out, okay? So like he was doing the whole rollout. He was like really getting in the zone. And I was just constantly there for like all the work that he was doing. And this album was special because it was this first piece of work that he was putting out since everything had happened and since everyone had died, okay? And the whole album was about that, of course. And as a part of his little press tour, he went on the Zach Sang show, okay? If you are not familiar, Zach Sang is an interviewer. He does like huge celebrity interviews.
And the episode that she is talking about is this one in particular, just as an FYI.
And he gets really deep and talks about like life and music and everything. Zach is also one of his best friends. So Zach like knows his story very well, and he does the interview accordingly, okay? He's asking like all the questions about his mom, about the funerals, about his brother, about his dad, everything. And he's answering, obviously. And he's talking about how he had to attend the funerals during COVID, and he had to do it via Zoom because of like everything that was going on. And he is really just going in this interview in his Australian accent.
Hey, it's Kane, just an interview with the Zach Sang show.
Again, let's note it. He is going into a lot of detail about family members that have passed, and he's talking in an Australian accent.
You've had great success, but also really great tragedy all wrapped into one over the last couple years.
Yeah.
Do you write about the loss of your mom passed?
Yeah.
Your brother passed?
Mm-hmm.
And your dad passed?
1 year, yeah. Yeah, it was a lot.
No further comment at this time.
I was staying with him at an Airbnb at the time, and I posted a TikTok with him in it, okay? And in my comments, I started getting girls going, uh-oh, like, not him. And I immediately was like, wait, what?
I also can't imagine posting a TikTok with your partner and then all the TikTok girlies are like, ooh, bad choice, him? Like, Brooke's facial expression really gets me of like, oh, what does this mean?
And I have a girl tell me like, oh, by the way, he cheated on his ex-girlfriend with literally 15 girls.
And that's where the bomb is dropped on Brooke, that Clinton cheated on his ex-girlfriend with 15 girls. So he's a serial cheater. He didn't just do it once. He did it 15 times behind his ex-girlfriend's back. And what Clinton told Brooke was that no, the ex-girlfriend cheated on him, and that's why the relationship ended.
And before this, he had told me that his ex, who I Guess I'm in Love is about, by the way, one of the most beautiful songs ever. People use it as their wedding song. It's like, I mean, it's his biggest song. He told me that the girl that was about had cheated on him, okay? So this was news to me. And I asked him about it. I'm like, did you cheat on her? And like, it was the most nonchalant thing in the world. He was like, well, yeah. I'm like, excuse me?
I'm glad she was brave enough to also ask him, like, hey, this is what I'm hearing. Did you do this? But his response of just being so incredibly nonchalant, like, well, yeah, I did. So quick and nonchalant to be like, well, yeah, I did lie to you, and yeah, I did do that. But I won't cheat on you, though, because I love you. I didn't love her. You know, like, what? How is that supposed to make her feel secure in her relationship if you just so openly cheated on your ex-girlfriend? Obviously, you're gonna cheat again. You're a serial cheater. You're gonna keep doing it.
Part 9. I'm having so much fun. Okay. So we just found out that he cheated on his ex-girlfriend, who I Guess I'm in Love is about. Okay. Beautiful love song. You can't imagine that he could possibly do something bad to her, right? Wrong. He was cheating on her the whole time. All right. And what I realized when I really looked into it is I was one of the girls.
And now we go a further step and find out that Brooke was one of the girls that he attempted to cheat on his ex-girlfriend with. You know, remember when he was messaging Brooke a whole bunch?
Because, like I said, he has been messaging me constantly for the last year, like literally sliding up on every single story I post trying to fly me out. When he tried to fly me out to dinner that time, they were actively in a relationship.
So when he offered to fly her out to Vegas, he was in a committed relationship. And even though Brooke had no idea, and so she was not a part of this cheating scandal, if I was her, I would feel so bad, like I helped him to cheat on her or something. Even though obviously she didn't take him up on that Vegas flight, but still, he was sliding into her DMs, and I would just feel so guilty of like, oh my gosh, I'm breaking up this relationship, even though it's not my fault whatsoever. Clinton was the one that actively made the decision to be like, I'm gonna cheat on her with Brooke. Let's do it. Let's give it a try.
So I'm sick because, first of all, I feel like I somehow had like a part in it, and I felt disgusting about that. And just the fact that like I could never have imagined that he was like capable of doing something like that because of how like romantic he was and like what a love bomber he was. I was like, I what on earth do you mean? But he's a master manipulator. So he's telling me like, I was so removed from that relationship long before we broke up, and I should have just called it off, and I would never do something like that again. And they were long distance. Like, she lived in New York and he lived in Vegas. So it was like they really didn't spend a lot of time together. And like somehow the way that he described it to me made it seem like less bad. It was horrible. But I didn't let it go, and that was at the top of my mind. Okay? And again, we're staying together. So the next morning, I'm in bed with him when he is on a call with his manager. All right? And he is begging his manager, telling him, whatever it takes, I need you to have that interview deleted. And he's talking about the Zach Sang interview that I referenced earlier.
So now we've come full circle again back to Zach Sang. And before, Clinton Kane had gone into a lot of detail about his relatives' passings in an Australian accent.
Hey, it's Clinton Kane, just an interview with the Zach Sang Show.
And now, all of a sudden, he's calling his people, begging or demanding that gets taken down and never gets posted or see the light of day ever again, and they need to figure it out because it can't go out. Why are we switching our tunes all of a sudden? What was in that interview? What happened? Tell us, Brooke.
I am like, what's going on? I hadn't seen the interview yet, but Zach's one of our best friends. Like, I was like, what could possibly be in this interview that is so bad that he wants it off the internet? But, like Clinton's telling his manager, like, I don't care, like, just get it down. So in bed next to him, I get on my little phone and I go to the interview and I start to read the comments. And in the comments, I see someone write, "This is really strange. I don't know where this Australian accent came from. He is not Australian. He is from Brunei. I grew up with him. I went to school with him. And I saw his mom last week."
Now you all understand why I kept bringing up the family members dying in the Australian accent.
Hey, it's Clinton Kane, just an interview with the Zach Sang Show.
Apparently, he's not from Australia at all. He does not have an accent, and his mother is not dead. Those sorts of lies, I can't even wrap my head around. Because obviously this relationship sounds toxic, so it doesn't surprise me that Clinton would lie about some things. But the fact that he lied about such major components, such as, again, don't forget, he lied about his age. He now lied about his Australian accent, of all things. Apparently he really wanted to be from Australia, so he just made it up and let it be his fake reality. And his mother is alive and well. See, now this is where I really got sucked in. Now, obviously, we're on like part 10 or something like that. I was clearly, if I made it to part 10, I was already hooked. But that bomb dropped had me reeling. It's like, what? I don't even think I would know how to process that sort of lie after I figured out it was a lie. Of all the things to lie about. And if we remember and go back a couple parts, Brooke said with his new album, a lot of the songs were inspired by or about him dealing with everything that happened.
I mean, Chicken Tendies is actually about losing my mom.
But it turns out none of it happened. So did he just make it up for, I guess, A, sympathy, B, clout, C, to promote his album, D, all of the above? I don't know. This is all allegedly because I don't know. I am reacting to TikToks. but this is a strange one.
Part 10, we have reason to believe that he is A, not from Australia, faking an Australian accent,
Hey, it's Clint Kane, just an interview with the Zach Sang Show.
and B, he faked the death of his family. Okay? And like I said, I was still mad about the ex thing, so I staged this whole fight and I get the fuck out of there, which was not easy to do, okay? I don't get to leave, remember?
Thank God, Brooke. I'm glad that she was able to get out. And I totally believe her that it was not easy to do. I'm sure he came up with 1,000,002 excuses of why she needed to stay. Finding out that most of what he said was a lie, yeah, I also would need to get the hell out to get a moment for myself to compose my thoughts and figure out what is going on.
I go home and I get on my computer so fucking fast and I look up his mother, okay, which I've never done before. She has a very specific name, all right? And I looked her up on Facebook. She has 2 accounts, okay? And on neither of them has she posted since the date that she was supposed to have died. So in my head, I'm like, okay, it's possible she's dead. But it's also possible that she is not, which, like, you guys. But here's the thing, okay? He had told me so many stories about his childhood and his life growing up and told me all about his mom and what she looked like. She was Norwegian and blonde, okay? He would tell me about what his house looked like and how they had nannies and maids. And he was so wealthy, and his mom would leave for months at a time because she also had, like, she had all these, like, crazy businesses in addition to her being a pastor.
His childhood sounds incredible, let's say that. That definitely sounds like red flags to me of like, okay, yeah, I guess he could have grown up very wealthy, and yeah, maybe his mom did go away for months. But where you start to lose me is when Brooke just said apparently she has all these businesses as well as being a pastor, and she just has everything in the world, it sounds like. I guess technically the other things, like, yeah, that, I mean, I wasn't there, that could have happened, I don't know, but you're like, how many businesses does she own? How much time do those take up? Because wouldn't being a pastor take up a lot of time? I'm confused. We all have the same amount of hours in a day. What is she doing?
I don't even know how in my right mind I did not see right through this, but he would tell me all these elaborate stories. And now I'm looking at her Facebook profile and his life was nothing of the sort. Okay? I can see the house that he grew up in Brunei, by the way, not at all in Australia. Keep in mind, I live with this man and he has a fucking Australian accent.
Hey, it's Clint Kane, just an interview with the Zach Sang Show.
His mom is obviously Asian, as is he.
And there it is. Just one thing after another. He's just racking up the lies at this point. Is Clinton even his real name?
Why would you lie about that? It's such a strange thing to lie about. And just everything was fake. So while I can't immediately tell that she is alive, I can tell that he is a extreme pathological liar.
So to conclude that part, she knows that he is lying about a lot. Now, she hasn't found proof whether his mother is alive or dead. So that, she still could be dead. Maybe he's not lying about that. He is, though. Anyway.
Part 11, you guys. I now know that my boyfriend, who I've been with for several months, who I spend every single waking second with, has literally completely fabricated every single detail about himself. I know nothing about him.
It almost makes me wonder, did he just want to conduct like some sort of social experiment and see how Brooke would react? Was he incapable of thinking long term? Did he not want to think long term? Or did he have a long-term plan? And if so, what was it? Like, let's say Brooke and Clinton stayed together. Did he have the full intention of continuing his lies forever? And did he truly think that nobody would ever find out? Because those are pretty significant lies. How are you supposed to keep that up? I feel like, in my opinion, he just simply wasn't thinking long-term and was only taking his lies, day by day. I don't know. Don't know if that's true, but how could he possibly have a plan for long-term keeping that up?
And as lighthearted and funny as I can make the story now, I cannot explain to you what I felt in that moment. It was genuinely the worst feeling I've ever felt in my entire life, because it was I've never been obviously lied to in that way, but I spend so much time with this person. He's my best friend. I'm in love with him. I am dating him. Like, he's the closest person in the world to me, and he made himself up.
And it's important to know how she said she's never been lied to in that way, because obviously all of us have been lied to about something, whether it be something small that doesn't really matter or something that did matter and it has caused hurt feelings, whatever. But this is lying to a whole new scale, especially since at this point she is so attached to him. They spend so much time together. She is falling for him or has fallen for him, whatever. And now it turns out the person that she has fallen in love with does not actually exist because he made it all up. That honestly almost makes it sound like you would have to mourn a person as if they actually died, but in reality you're just mourning the version of that person that they sold you that doesn't actually exist.
And just like my nature, it's impossible for me to get rid of somebody. So I knew, like, obviously what I know, I have to break up with him, and I didn't want to. So I was like what the fuck do I do? I know that sounds so dumb coming out of my mouth now, but it was like I knew that if I had the conversation, I had to break up with him. So I was like, I wasn't even sure that I wanted to have I almost wanted to just like pretend I didn't know.
And see, I do understand where she's coming from with that, because at this point she has already gone into so much detail of how manipulative Clinton can be, that confronting him and being like, hey, this relationship isn't working out, let's end things, that sounds like a horrible conversation to have, because somehow he would have 1,000,002 things to say on why they need to stay together, on why she can't leave him, and just everything else. That conversation truly sounds horrible. I also would not know how to handle the situation. I would come to the same conclusion as her, that hey, we do have to end it, but man, I don't want to open that can of worms. I do not want to confront him about it, but I have to.
Again, I was unmedicated, but I did text him and I said, listen to me. I'm going to give you the opportunity right now to tell me if there's anything that you've lied to me about at all. And he racked his brain for all of 5 minutes before he told me I had lied about my age. I am 22 years old. All that, and the only thing he wanted to admit to was that he lied about his age.
I wonder what emotions he felt when he read that message. I need you to tell me what you have lied to me about. He had to have been freaking out, right? Or was he just that confident that he's like, nah, she's just figured out the age thing. Everything else, I'm still golden on. Honestly, I do kind of believe that that's all he could get himself to admit to Brooke. He seems like the type that he must be very confident in his lies, so I almost have the feeling that he probably maybe thought of like, okay, she's figured out the age thing, but there's no way she's figured out this other stuff because I'm way too good. Which could be wrong. Obviously, I do not know this man, but I can draw my own conclusions.
Okay, part 12, get to the point. I confront him, obviously. I show up there the next day and I'm like, listen to me. This is what I know. You need to explain yourself right fucking now. And when I tell you this man is so good at his job, you guys, because here's the thing. I'm here accusing a man of faking his mother's death, okay, with no hard evidence. I have evidence that he lied about, like, the conditions in which he grew up, but I'm not sure that she's alive. So I can't, like, with full confidence, like, come at him in that way. So I'm kind of hoping that he just, like, confesses, and he doesn't. He made me feel so fucking horrible for ever possibly accusing him of lying about something like that, because who would ever lie about something like that?
Yeah, unfortunately, he does have a very good counter argument of who would ever lie about something that serious, which I know that's technically in objective terms, that's actually not a good counter argument at all. But the gaslighting, it truly would make me feel insane of like, well, she probably has to be dead because he's right. Who would lie about something like that? That's just crazy. I really feel for Brooke here. I bet she truly felt like she was actually going insane.
I felt so disgusting and so guilty, and I literally could not, I thought I was going crazy. And here's the thing. I grew up very poor, and obviously I had like drug addict parents and stuff, and like he knows that, and I've told him a lot about that. So it was like weird to me that he would lie about, like, pretend to have grown up super rich. But I also know that like some people are like ashamed of the way that they grew up and stuff, so it's like, how am I really I don't know why I'm making excuses for him right now. Like, why the fuck are you lying about how you grew up? Literally, why? For who?
I do understand where she's coming from for that, though, because I do understand that some people are ashamed of, you know, their upbringing. However, he was very detailed in his lies. Most people who do feel that way, that they are ashamed of their childhood, they will usually, you know, dodge the question or give a roundabout answer, or if they do lie, it's something just like, oh, it, you know, it was fine, it wasn't bad, or we lived in an average house, or just, you know, shit like that. They don't go into detail describing their mother being different ethnicity and just the detail of just how rich they were and how wonderful life was, except, you know, my mom left me for months at a time. It's just all the, like, the amount of detail that he went into it. It's like, I understand Brooke's thought process of, like, maybe he was ashamed or something, but this level of lying goes beyond that.
But I admit my fault. I stayed with him, okay? I stayed with him, and I know I was wrong. I don't know what I was thinking. Looking back on it now, I'm like, are you literally kidding? But I stayed with the man.
Now that is where she loses me a little. Because why did you stay? Brooke, what? After all of that, and even if his gaslighting worked, that, you know what, you are starting to feel like you are in the wrong for thinking he's lying about these things. Wouldn't the stress of the relationship be enough to be like, okay, you know what, maybe I am in the wrong, but I'm out. But I guess not.
But I still had my doubts, okay? Now all of a sudden I'm watching him differently. Every single thing that he says I just assume is a lie. And we're fighting constantly about everything. I remember one night he literally started hysterically sobbing because I said as a joke that Kid Rock was hot.
Now that's funny. That's funny. Like, what do you mean? He started hysterically crying because you said Kid Rock was hot. Now, as a reference, if none of you know, this is what Kid Rock looks like, okay? No further comment on that. But he started hysterically crying for her making a comment that he's hot.
All right, part 13, lucky for him, I want to go to bed soon. But I will spare you guys the details of how I found out that I was getting cheated on, okay? But boy, was I. Y'all have seen him. Like, was I wrong to think I didn't really have to worry about that? It's truly amazing what he was able to accomplish. But he was, in fact, cheating on me with so many people. Like, literally, and like I said, we spent every single second together. So if I, like, matched up the timelines, it would be like we were, like, laying in bed watching Bridgerton, and he'd be, like, sending a dick pic to somebody else.
Ew. Now, on top of it, Brooke also finds out she is being cheated on with so many other women. Because remember, he cheated on his last girlfriend with 15 other girls. So it's probably around the same amount, if not more, that he's cheating on Brooke with, which, since they do spend so much time together, that is crazy that she's describing, oh yeah, I matched the timelines up. We were watching Bridgerton at that time, sitting right next to each other, and he was sending lewd pictures to another woman as their feet away from each other. The audacity.
So that was something. And that is ultimately why we did break up. But what's interesting about that is we broke up because I accused him of cheating, and he couldn't believe I would ever have the nerve.
So ultimately, they break up because of the cheating, not because of the lying. And it's mainly because she accused him of cheating. And how dare she accuse him? Not how dare he cheats. How dare she accuse him? This has the same energy of, you can't fire me, I quit. Yet she accused you of cheating because you were cheating. Why are you pressed about that? You did it. You were the one that did it.
He was fully cheating on me. Like, but can you believe that? Like, he broke up with me. Like, how embarrassing is that? I shouldn't even tell you that. But you guys know that story. I was a wreck. Did not handle that well. I was not doing well. It was a really, really rough time. All right. But it was only then that I had the confidence to bring the mom thing back up again. So we're on the phone, and I'm hysterically sobbing, and I'm asking him, how could you do this? Blah, blah, blah. Do you need to be institutionalized, etc.? And I ask him, also, why did you fake the death of your family? And of course, he denies it. And I then tell him, I've been talking to your mother. I had not been talking to his mother, but that got him. He finally admitted that he did, in fact, fake the death of his mom and his brother. His dad is dead. Not that that's a good thing, but
she finally got him to admit it. She was able to circle back around. The relationship's already pretty much over, but she wanted to circle back around to the mom thing. Why did you lie about that? Again, no, I didn't. And that was so smart for her to be like, well, I've been talking to your mother. Even though she hasn't, but it was just to catch him, you know? The relationship's over anyway. So if she was dead, it would have been out of pocket that she, you know, lied that she was talking to her. But she was right, though, so... Yeah, buddy? Isn't this so interesting? Yeah, hi. Being a good boy.
there's 1 out of 3 that are dead. The rest are still kicking. So I guess it's like a positive. If you think about all his songs about how he like just wishes he could talk to his mom one more time, it's like, call her.
Yeah, just call her. That's pretty funny. Just call her. Yeah, and obviously it is not a good thing that his dad has passed on. I am sorry for him for that loss. But 2 out of the 3 people that he said all died in the same year are still alive and around. And apparently are doing fine.
Anyway, it has now been 2 years since we've broken up, and he had the nerve to post a TikTok today saying that I cannot let it go. And I just want to go on record and say, no fucking shit. Apparently his new song comes out on Friday, and the man will do anything to get a stream. So honestly, you guys, do him a service. He needs money for therapy. And if you take nothing else away from this story, just know that treating underlying mental health conditions is very important, because had I known what was wrong with me, I would have never gone near that man to begin with.
I'm glad that she was able to get out of that relationship and get the medication that she needs. But this whole story finally came out from that one single TikTok that I showed you in the beginning. Came from that, and it resulted in this. And similarly, if I was Brooke, I also would never shut the fuck up. Are you kidding? After being treated like that, I would tell everybody. I would tell everybody. There's not a person I wouldn't tell, really. Which recently, Brooke and Tana on their podcast canceled, they do talk about this situation some more. And there was a point during that episode where Brooke specifically talks about how she had brought up the circumstances of her relationship before, but she hadn't gone into as much detail as she did in these TikToks, and it just never seemed to take off. Most people just did not care, so she kind of thought that nobody would give a fuck about her story.
Here's the thing. I didn't think anyone gave a fuck, because
I knew it.
I've been kind of talking about it and like breadcrumbing it on this podcast forever. And obviously like people knew, or like at least there was like speculation because of like what's been said online, that he was a liar, he faked the death of his family, yada yada. And I always say it. I've said it on every podcast and stuff, but it never picked up. And I was like, damn, I guess people like really don't care like I thought they were gonna.
And now she's able to come out with her story, so I'm glad she is, because I don't want Clinton Kane to do this to any other women. I don't even want to know how many women he's already traumatized. He does not need to traumatize anybody further. And with Brooke coming out with her story, there have been a number of other girls who also made some other TikToks or whatever social media they use to come out saying like, hey, turns out when you match up the timelines, you know, Clinton was messaging me while he was still dating you, or I dated Clinton Kane and this was my experience, and just other people have had some crazy experiences with him as well. And we're not diving into all of that because we're focusing on Brooke specifically, but just wow.
Because a lot of people ask me like, well, did his accent ever like go in and out? Like, did you ever notice that he like didn't have an accent? And truthfully, he never, almost never had the accent with only me, okay? Like he would turn it on when my friends were around or when we're at dinner with people or whatever, and I was like, okay, slay. But like, you know, he's a performance artist, but I didn't really think that much of it because obviously like I'm American, and I just figured like he was like mirroring me. Sometimes if I felt like he was really being irrational, I would record our arguments because I'd like to show them to him the next day. He knew I did this, by the way. This is not illegal. And you can, there's just nothing Australian about him. I'll let you be the judge.
It's uncomfortable. You can say it to fucking anyone else. You can go with Tana and say it. When I'm in that room, you don't. Because I'm saying it right now, I'm uncomfortable. You want to keep saying things I'm uncomfortable about? Keep going. I'm just gonna be like weirded out. I'm gonna be like, oh wow, that's crazy. Something I brought up to my girlfriend that I said was uncomfortable. She doesn't acknowledge it nor respect that I am uncomfortable about it, and she doesn't want to stop saying it, even though it doesn't demoralize her personality or her value.
You literally
No,
don't
it
even
doesn't.
know what
It
that
doesn't
means.
demoralize your personality.
What are you even talking? What are you talking about?
Here we go. Turn off.
That is not what
Here we
demoralize
go.
means.
So yeah, that was them in an argument, and we hear Clinton's voice yelling. I didn't really detect anything Australian about it at all, actually. Did you guys? Dude, my battery died. What the heck? But anyway, nothing about his accent sounded Australian, but I do understand a little bit where Brooke is coming from in terms of the fact he is a performance artist and maybe he wants to come across a certain way, but he has more or less trained the accent out of him. Why would you do that if you only used that training in private? So after all these parts came out, Brooke then came out with like a follow-up TikTok, and here is that one.
All right, guys, I don't know how much more I want to talk about it. I mean, your videos are cracking me up, but I don't want to venture into like tacky territory. However, we do of course have to address the statement that Clinton put out because it is so funny. I would like to take it piece by piece, okay? Starting with Clinton Kane and Brooke Schofield had a brief 3-month relationship over 2 years ago. To which I reply, why on earth would I want people to think I dated you longer than I did? Next, we have Brooke's recent comments regarding Clinton are untrue. No, they're fucking not.
I love that defense. They're not though.
Right. This part is like one of my favorite elements of the story, which is like the random side quest he decided to go on when people started finding things out, where he made up an imaginary new woman who was a mother figure to him who was actually the one who had died, okay?
So now he's come up with what sounds like a new lie. So now everybody knows his mom is alive and well. Well, I suppose we don't know about the how well she's doing part, but she's alive. So now he's like, shit, I gotta come up with something. And now he's come up with a mother figure. And this mother figure is the one that his songs are about and what he references and is the one that is dead. But who this mother figure is, I don't know. And he probably also does not know.
The rep says that the mother he referred to in the interview with Sang was actually a very special mother-like figure in his teenage years who sadly passed. Not his biological mother, as was assumed. Which, what do you mean, was assumed? Like, girl. Clinton genuinely felt like he had lost an irreplaceable mother figure, okay? This might hold up for the Zach Sang interview, but I was his girlfriend, okay? I was getting stories from like the time he was born to the present, okay? With names, all right? Which is how I looked his little mom up to begin with, okay? There was one mom, all right? It's the same mom I heard about every single day, and that is the one he killed off, and that is the one who is chilling in Brunei. And this is not even the most concerning part of the statement. Okay.
It sounds like Clinton Kane loved to share his life story and loved to just tell Brooke everything. And he never once mentioned a mother figure. He only ever talked about his biological mother.
Now, I want to talk about the part of the statement that really got my little feet kicking. Okay? It reads, the public rehashing of these details is only an attempt to bring attention and focus on Brooke's podcast at the expense of tearing down another former boyfriend, a tactic that she has become known for.
See, arguments like this royally irk me because Tana and Brooke's podcast, which is called Cancelled, is doing very well. There is no need for her to come up with this strategy, marketing campaign, or whatever to bring Clinton down and to promote their podcast because it's already doing well. Obviously, you can argue that any show doesn't hurt from getting even more views and boosting more. Yeah, okay, sure. But they also weren't hurting for them. Also to note, she posted all of this on TikTok. They didn't, announce that they were doing the exclusive scoop on her relationship with Clinton Kane and it was only going to be on their podcast or it was behind some paywall. She posted it to her TikTok. Now, how is that promoting the podcast? No, you're just looking for excuses.
But if they had done any research at all, they would know that the Cancelled podcast listeners have known this lore all along, okay? I brought this to my TikTok audience for one reason and one reason only, okay? It is because that man called me a yapper.
And I love that. It was one reason and one reason only. She was not going to bring it up. She was going to keep the dirty laundry to herself pretty much. But he had the audacity to call her a yapper. She's like, all right, you want to know a thing or two about yapping? I'll tell you. And now here we are. And it was wonderful. Keep yapping, Brooke. Never shut up about it, actually.
I mean this in the most humble way possible. Truly. Like, I really, truly do. Canceled amasses more listeners in one singular week than Clinton Kane has in an entire year. I'm sorry. This article was published in Rolling Stone. Okay? Rolling Stone, who actually reached out to me in 2023, all right? Several times.
I'm going to read these messages so you don't have to pause to read them. So listen up. Hi Brooke, I'm an editor at Rolling Stone and have been looking into Clinton Kane's backstory for a bit now, wondering if you'd be interested in chatting. Hi, could you give me any more information on what it is you are doing? I just want to know what I am signing up for. Hi Brooke, thanks for getting back to me. I had been told that the deaths of the family were not true. Sorry, Brooke is covering up part of the message. From a source a while back and started to dig, but I reached out to have not gotten back to me. Probably, but who I reached out to have not gotten back to me. That's still not right. Whatever. Trying to confirm before I can run with this, and I think your insight would be integral to the story. We can talk on or off record, but since I know you've already discussed it publicly, on record would be ideal.
You're already publishing a story on Clinton, okay? It was already a thing. People knew about it, okay?
Okay, I just want to put a little bit of thought into it first. I would have probably spoken a lot more about it publicly if I weren't afraid for him and his mental health. I just don't want to be responsible if something were to happen to him. That is completely understandable. If you're more comfortable talking anonymously about this for now, that is cool too. Think on it and let's check in tomorrow. Hi Brooke, I just wanted to circle back to say I haven't forgotten about you and wanted to touch base. I'm around. My days off at Rolling Stone are Thursday and Friday. Want to think on this a bit more or chat in a few days. I'm available Wednesday, but happy to talk to you anytime/day. I just got off work and it's been a very long day.
Ultimately, I decided I wanted no involvement. As you can see here, I feared for his mental health, okay? I didn't want anything to do with that because I couldn't do it in good conscience.
Can you give me an idea of what it is you are writing? Like, is it about him specifically? It's still in the early stages, so don't have exact direction yet, but we are trying to understand a bit more about what happened with Clinton and his family. As I mentioned, if it makes you more comfortable, I am more than happy to talk to you about this anonymously/completely off the record, and we can go from there. Or if you're thinking there is some other angle you'd like to discuss, again, off record or otherwise, I am open to hearing it. Let me know, totally free to chat tomorrow if you'd like and are available. Hi Brooke, just wanted to check in to see if you'd like to talk at some point on or off record. If there is something you suggest about a story that involves this that is not about him specifically, would love to hear it too.
They even offered to let me do it anonymously and I ghosted them, okay? So please, Clinton's publicist, if you exist and if you are listening, please help that man. I have nothing to gain. I'm embarrassing myself.
And her having the screenshots that Rolling Stone did reach out to her as well, and she ultimately denied making any comments because she didn't want it to impact Clinton negatively. Good on her. Good on her. And then Clinton going there and being like, yeah, everything she said was a lie. Between the two of you, I do have to say, I believe one more than the other. And it's not you, Clinton.
Okay, so if you guys saw the video and the song that came out last night, which, honest to God, hope you didn't, it is directed and edited by his ex-girlfriend who came before me, okay? So I referenced her in my original story time. Her name is Mia. She is a fucking angel, and she's a victim as well. Apparently, somewhere along the way, they worked out some sort of friendship, and she, I don't know, edited and directed the video. That's none of my business. Okay? I have not a bad word to say about her. She is literally like, she was such a saint to me during my breakup. But what I did find out during that time was that he killed his mom off while they were actively dating. So, like, actually physically called her, his girlfriend, on the phone and said, me mom just died.
I would like to know how a friendship between Mia and Clinton came about after the breakup. That is insane to think that she was the current girlfriend when this whole life started. One day he had to have called her and be like, hey, my mom passed. And she would have to deal with him actively grieving for a woman that has not actually passed. How on earth they could be friends, and friends enough for her to edit and direct the music video, because in order to do that, you would think you would have to be like good friends, right? That's crazy. She sounds like a saint. I don't know.
And she flew across the country and stayed with him for months while he grieved. A woman who is alive. She literally sat there, stayed by his side for months while he literally like sobbed his eyes out, mourned a woman that he just decided to kill off one day. I had to tell her a year later that woman, like she's alive. She's fully alive.
And that was so nice of her. She flew there to be with him, stayed with him for months, apparently, and all of it was a lie. I feel so bad for her as well. Oh my god. But that basically wraps up Brooke's expose, whatever you want to call it, her TikTok series, all the parts in this little update. That was the beginning of all of this. And then what followed is the article, her response to that article. They eventually did talk about it more on the canceled podcast.
And then his statement to Rolling Stone, like,
Oh, kick rocks.
well, there was a specific sentence in the Rolling Stone thing that he said, like a specific sentence in his statement that was like, Schofield is known for just tearing apart men on her podcast. Trying to flip it, like, to the narrative of like, oh, just another crazy girl tearing down a man. Like, you fake killed off your whole family and abused 10 women and everyone in your fucking life over it. Of course. Like, there has to be repercussions.
I want to be sure that I don't fuck this up. The public rehashing of these details is only an attempt to bring attention and focus on Brooke's podcast at the expense of this is the part that's not even properly worded, at the expense of tearing down. That does not fucking make sense. Another former boyfriend, a tactic that she has become known for. And what about it? You know what I mean? Like,
no, but also what?
It is frustrating because it's like, oh, like that's just my shtick. I just come on here and I try to cancel guys. Fuck you so much. You killed your mom and I'm the psycho one.
And now, like I said in the beginning of this video, right when I was about to press record, I happened to check Brooke's TikTok, and she had posted 3 minutes prior, by the way, her response to Clinton's response to this whole situation. I have not seen Clinton's responses yet, so we will be going through them together. Obviously, Clinton received a lot of hate. There were a lot of comments on his TikToks because he was posting a lot of TikToks promoting his new song, and there were a lot of comments being, you know, like, hey, what the fuck, after hearing Brooke's side of the story. And he kept deleting comments. Like a lot of them.
Okay, I'm literally shitting on a yacht, right? But I just want to talk about the fact that Clinton keeps deleting his comments. Like, do you think you're eating? Do you think that no one knows because you're deleting the comments? Like, they're like, yes, King, we can't wait for the album. And it's like 3 bots from Botswana. Like, we know you're deleting the comments.
To a point where a TikTok would have lots and lots of views and yet 15 comments because he was actively deleting them. But anyway, let's switch to Clinton Kane's TikTok and see what he has to say, because I am very curious.
Hey guys, I'm sorry it took a bit long for me to respond to all the allegations that were made from a 3-month relationship. 3 months, 2 years ago.
Okay, guys, I'm not even halfway through the series, but I am not letting the man die on the hill that we only dated for 3 months. Okay, listen to me. We met mid-May. We started dating, officially dating, first week of June, but we were not seeing anybody else. Well, actually, no, that's wrong. He was seeing other people still. I thought we weren't seeing anyone else, and we started dating officially the first week of June. We broke up the weekend of the Life is Beautiful festival, which was the end of September, okay? It was, I want to say like September 27th or something like later on in September. There was a lot of drama. It was a lot of back and forth. I was really going through it. I was having a major episode. Everybody knows this about me already, and I openly admit it, okay? But in the end of October, we had decided that we were going to get back together, okay? He sat on my couch and he said, like, if you'll have me, please give me another try, all right? And I said, I will think about it. Thought about it a little bit, and I was like, you know what? I mean, it was what I wanted. I was delusional. It was what I wanted. But He left for his studio session that day, and I got a slew of DMs from a girl who he had also cheated on me with. Keep in mind, he cheated on me with dozens and dozens of women. He doesn't, I mean, at least so far, he has not mentioned that part. When I got those DMs, I immediately wrote him a fucking 7-page letter. I put it on top of his suitcases. I set it outside my apartment, and I never saw him again.
I want to remind you that I'm not a podcaster. I'm not an influencer. I'm a musician. And I'm not doing this for views, likes, fame, or monetary gain, because honestly, this has just been draining and I am fucking tired. The wonderful thing about being a public figure is that my team had advised me earlier on in my career to keep every single receipt, every text, every DM, and all media to any type of encounter for when situations like these arise. These first set of videos are strictly going to be about my relationship with Brooke, but I will tackle all the allegations made against my background and my family. There is a distorted reality, and there is reality. I am here to give you all the facts.
Alright, so part 1 was him just saying like, hey, we're about to dive in and my team has advised me, and don't worry, I do have all the receipts, I swear I do. I have a feeling his response is going to be very, very nitpicky. That's the vibe that I got from that initial part 1. We are off to a really good start.
Who did I date, not marry, lie number 1.
My boyfriend, who I've been with for several months, like 6 months, you were with a guy and you just like adapted his lifestyle. You didn't do anything for yourself fully. 5 or 6 months into our relationship, I found out. How long were you guys together for? Not even long. We were together like 7 months. Brooke Schofield had a brief 3-month relationship over 2 years ago. To which I reply, why on earth would I want people to think I dated you longer than I did?
I really don't know why, but for some reason you seem to be confused. We only dated for 3 months. Let me show you the receipts. We met at my show, just like she said, on May 13th.
So I'm going to read these texts so you don't have to pause and read them yourselves. So follow along. What are you guys doing tonight? Want to come over and drink? Was going to just chill, but could be down to see your beautiful faces, maybe like 9. Yes, that's perfect. Song comes out at 9. I know. So sorry, probably pronounced that horribly. So exciting. We must celebrate. What's the Addy again? He gives the address. I did not know it was 40 minutes away. OMG.
This was June 2nd. A conversation with our mutual friends at the time. He asked, have I asked her out officially yet? I say, I haven't.
Amazing. I barely recognize her without the filler. Kidding, it looks the same. Have you asked her out officially yet? If not, can I be present? I haven't. I don't know when.
And on the 7th of June, as you can see, is when we actually got together.
I'm sorry if I stumble over some of the text. Some of the wording is weird. But anyway. Oh, what? Has show tonight? OMG, I gonna go. OMG, ugh. Teehee. Is okay, you will see. Miles, tell her. Your crush again. Ugh, I just can't cancel on Nat. I haven't seen her in so long. Baby, don't even worry. Go spend time with your friend, lover. Have so much fun. Tell her I love her. I feel like now that you're my girlfriend, it makes it nicer to say baby. So funny. It is true. I noticed it too, lol.
And just to confirm that even more, I texted my best friend on the 9th of June, 2 days after we got together, saying, I have a girlfriend now, you should meet her.
Love you. I'm gonna be in Vegas tomorrow. I have girlfriend now. You should meet her. And let's go out tomorrow if you're free. I'm not sure what is that last text. What the fuck, Instagram? Brooke, what do you mean Instagram? You know. What? It's that app I can look up people. I'm so confused. Brooke Schofield. That whole exchange, weird. That was a weird exchange.
And she actually says on a podcast when we broke up.
He performed at a festival that, like, in Vegas. So I had been vlogging the whole time. And then we broke up at the very end of the...
That festival was Life is Beautiful. I performed on September 18th, 2022.
Okay, will you sleep in here? I don't know yet. I can't sleep anyway, so if I do, I will. But I am going to get some air. Come here when you wake up, please. I'd rather not leave without talking. What time's your flight? There's one at 3 and one at 4, but I don't want to book it until you talk to me. Okay, can you come here? 1 sec.
On the 20th September is the date we broke up. Here are the texts. So we got together June 7th and we broke up September 20th, which is exactly 3 months and 13 days. So 3 months. And on top of this, we have a mutual friend who she tried convincing on Instagram that we dated for 7 months with pictures that have dates. Here is the DM that she sent to him and the pictures that she used to try to prove to him that we dated for 7 months. The first picture she sent to him to convince him when we got together is obviously not the day we got together. May 14th was the second night that we ever met. And the date on the second picture is October 2nd. This was not the actual date of the picture. This was taken on film, and we didn't get the photos developed until this date. The actual date of that picture is September 18th, the day that I played the festival, and we broke up 2 days after that, September 20th. She's also said that we got back together after we broke up.
Did you break up with him? No, he broke up with me. He broke up with me, we got back together, I broke up with him. What was it, just blocking him? Yeah, so we had gotten back together. I'm never gonna get back with this man. And then, of course, 2 weeks later, I'm delusional, and I'm like, I'm gonna get back with this.
We did not get back together after we broke up. We did see each other multiple times and still texted. This was a month after we broke up, October 21st, 2022.
Okay, cool. So he has literally everything blocked out except this one text that says, "We are broken up." And then a little bit of text that says, "How much it hurt me that you broke up with me." Everything else is blocked out.
Clearly stating that we were still broken up. This was the next month on 8th November, still showing that we did not get back together.
Did you unblock me on TikTok just to post a song called "I Only Dated You Because I Was Bored"? I'm not hurting you on purpose, like, yes you are. No, Brooke, I'm not you. I wrote that song 2 years ago about someone else. Then why unblock me only on TikTok the day you post it? I'm not accusing you, I'm asking you. I don't remember unblocking you. I have no clue. Nothing I do in public or in general has had any correlation to you. Okay, I'm sorry for lashing out a lot.
And then this was the 24th of November.
I'm thinking about you today. I miss you more than usual. I know I shouldn't. I am sorry for reacting to everything the way that I have. I don't mean to do it. I wish I could take a lot of things back. And I'm sorry we couldn't be on good terms for our birthday. I hope Bali is amazing and your birthday is exactly how you imagined it.
Still showing that we did not get back together. And then this was on January.
Do you think we will ever talk again?
Still showing that we did not get back together. And then February, again showing that we did not get back together.
Oh, this is a long one. Buckle up. I am sure you're asleep, but thank you again for letting me talk. I know it doesn't hurt you anymore, but you know how I hold on to everything forever. Our breakup really was the worst feeling I'd ever felt. I felt like I had no control over myself and how I acted. I feel like I said and did so many horrible things because of how hurt I was. Then the guilt I'd feel after would make it all so much worse. It felt like an endless cycle, and it killed me that you could move on so easily. But then I finally stopped checking on you and went to therapy every week and got back on my medicine and finally felt like I got my head on straight. I was feeling so differently about our situation, and I feel like I was able to finally look at it like a normal person. But then when this new relationship ended, I immediately went back to grieving you for some reason. I felt like I was comparing it to how much you cared about me and prioritized me and went out of your way for me. And I really do appreciate that. You were the meanest ex-boyfriend ever, but you were the sweetest boyfriend, and I am trying to remember you like that. You've loved people much longer and much more than you love me, but you're my only big love, so you will always be so special to me. Truthfully, I don't really understand the point of that TikTok. So, according to him, the relationship is slightly not as long as what Brooke was saying. Either way, this relationship did occur, and he is corroborating that. They were together. They were boyfriend and girlfriend. It just might not have been as long as Brooke said. Okay, I don't care. Did you kill off your mom? Yes or no?
Him showing these other screenshots that they weren't back together again in future time periods, he's showing messages where, okay, sure, it definitely looks like you guys aren't together in that moment on that day, but that doesn't necessarily mean they didn't get back together, and he's just not showing those screenshots, is from what I'm understanding.
Who did I date? Not marry. Lie number 2.
So we are technically in a long distance relationship, but we never separate. So we are never separating. And like I said, we spent every single second together. We literally went on our first date and never separated. So when you were with him every day, so it was just every day, like in the watching him work every day. Yeah. Actively. Wait, but you're together every day. How does that happen?
For some reason, she has said that we were together every single second of every single day. That is not true. We weren't.
That is the dumbest argument he could have said. What? Obviously, you were not together every single second of every single day. I would hope, even when you guys were together, you would give the other one space to, go to the bathroom and things like that. But even besides that, obviously, when Brooke said that, she didn't mean it literally, as in every single second of every single day, we are never apart. That's obviously not what that meant. So you're immediately like, well, that's not true. Okay, technically, it's not true, but you know damn well what she meant.
He's taking everything so literally, like, to the point where it's embarrassing. Like he never let me leave. Like, of course I got to go home. Just made such a thing of it every single time. And baby, I got screenshots of that too. Like, I don't know what, like, maybe I should have put a disclaimer. Not all of this is that he wasn't fucking tying me to the bed, okay? But he made it such an issue if I wanted to do anything for myself. That's the point I was trying to make. You stupid fucking idiot.
I'm going to show you all the days that we saw each other from our first date to when we broke up. I looked through every single one of our texts and photos, and I've put all the days that we saw each other on a Google Calendar. Also, I can show you every text and photo of when we were together in person, but I cannot be asked to make a 12-minute video on this subject. Here is the first month from when we had our first date. I've labeled it B for every time we saw each other. Yellow is for when we saw each other either during the day or just at night, and red is for when we spent the night together.
Okay, but him showing me that calendar, they were together all the time. Now, okay, technically, not every single second of every single day were they together. But when Brooke said that, I did not take it literally like that. Obviously, they would have to have breathing room because you have to. But looking at that calendar and how many times they were together or saw each other or whatever, that's basically all the time. I would also call that all the time. You were just with each other all the time. Like, what do you mean? Do you see how many spots on that calendar are filled? You guys saw each other a lot, Clinton.
No, and I don't even want to get petty, but the Google Calendar is so crazy. Like, you literally put the time in to make a Google Calendar. He color coded it, okay? Red meant I slept over, but mysteriously, red was always on one day. So, like, hello, red means 2 days because I slept over, meaning way more days than you're saying. Doesn't fucking matter. I don't care if I saw you 3 days a month. All right, oh, Clinton.
Our first date was on the 15th of May. So from the 15th of May to the 15th of June, we had spent a total of 15 days together out of 30 days. And on the second month, from the 15th of June to the 15th of July, we had spent 16 days together out of 30. In the third month, from the 15th of July to the 15th of August, we spent a total of 17 days together out of 30. And on the fourth month, from the 15th of August to the 20th of September, when we broke up, we spent 16 out of 35 days together. So from our first date to when we broke up, it was a total of 125 days. Out of 125 days, we spent 64 days together, which is essentially half. So we did not spend every single day together. And we did separate for more than half the time that we knew each other.
That's a lot. As somebody, if you remember me saying earlier, I do have to have like some alone time, some decompression time, and that being a new relationship, that would absolutely like send me over the edge. I could not handle being with a new person that much. I simply could not do it. In this instance, I definitely believe Brooke that you guys were together all the time because that is basically all the time in my eyes as well.
She also said this in the same video.
It was just every day, like in the watching him work every day. Yeah.
This is also not true. She never came to the studio with me and watched me work. In fact, this was the one and only time she was at the studio with me. We were on a trip and I had to last minute cut vocals for the album.
That one is simply boils down to a he said, she said. That one is like, okay, so he only has a photo of the one time where she was there. He is saying that she was not there any other time. She was saying that she was there a lot. I don't really think there is any proof swimming around besides the one picture that he posted, which he claims is the only time. That one is truly, who do you believe? Him or her? Who knows? That one, I guess I don't really have an opinion on.
Another thing that she says constantly is that we lived together.
Keep in mind, I live with this man. I was living with the man, but I was like living with.
We did not live together, and you can see that plainly from the Google Calendar and the amount of days that we were together.
This is another one that he is taking too literally. When Brooke was first saying that they were basically living together, in my mind, that meant they were spending so much time together and she was just with him all the time that they basically were living together. That did not mean She went and got rid of her current living situation, got moving trucks, got all of her stuff into trucks, and moved into his place as a permanent residence, you know, changed her address, all of that. That is not what I took that as her literally moving in with him and making that her permanent residence. She was living with him. And of all the things you want to dispute the fact that she wasn't actually living with me, though. Why does that matter? With these allegations that she's throwing at you, and you're like, what? Wait a minute, though. She didn't actually live with me. Okay, that doesn't answer any of the problems that are here. That answers nothing.
But here is more proof of her stating that it's her apartment. Another one of her saying it's her apartment. And another one of her stating that she's moving into a new apartment.
Let's recap these texts. Sad boyfriend. Sorry, baby, I'm filming video. Okay. I wish you were here. Why? To smooch. True. I'm sad because my apartment is so dark. How could I be so stupid? Is it that bad, Bubba? Yes. Fuck, send me video right now. I honestly have no idea. I feel so horrible. I don't know why. Why? Physically? And my apartment is so dark it makes me want to scream cry. And yes, babe, you always feel horrible every day. We need to get you checked out. Are you okay, baby? Once you get your furniture, you're gonna feel a whole lot better. I just feel bad and look bad and my life is dark and I'm sad. I threw up. Now I feel better. I had upset tummy. Be careful if you're already in a bad headspace. Talk to me. I'm just overwhelmed. Why? I don't know. Just packing and leaving and not having a single item of my own. Like I am moving into an apartment and don't own a single chair. I'm sorry, baby. That was just funny. No, but what do I do when I get there? I think he meant to say, do you not actually own one thing? I'm not sure. Anyway, I still have to wait for everything to come. It's bed only. Oh yeah, that's normal. Like clothes in bed.
She didn't mean it literally. She did not mean your place was now her new address and permanent residence. That's not what she meant. I cannot stand when people in arguments act like they don't understand context clues and just what people mean when they talk. It's so annoying.
Well, I was living with this man, so imagine every morning he's waking up, and he didn't live here, so he moved into that apartment, my last apartment, with me. Oh, wow. We built all our furniture, and we would go back. He lived in Vegas, so we would he was living with you here because he was at or he was he would stay with me here, or sometimes he'd get Airbnbs and stuff, but I would still stay with him. We were always together.
So first she says that we lived together, and then we didn't live together, and I lived in Vegas. And then that we moved into an apartment together and built all our furniture. And then after that, she said that I lived in Vegas and that I would only stay with. I am very confused.
What are you confused about? Because I'm not confused at all. It's called context clues and critical thinking. What are you lacking?
And as far as us moving into an apartment together and building our furniture, that never happened. Here is a text clearly stating that we did not live together.
Honestly, perfect. I miss you, cutie. Can't stop thinking about you. I miss you more. Finally watching new Stranger Things season. Ordered pasta. I can't wait to live alone. I know. I'm excited for you to live alone. You're gonna love your own space. How is it?
And I did try to help her find an apartment for herself. More text to show that.
I'll keep looking and sending stuff. Is this helpful in any way or should I stop? I love you, yes. Okay. That one is nice actually. Love you too. But don't waste your time on me if you're working. Not a waste of time, no worries, I can do both. I have laptop to look for apartments and iPad for work and phone for TikTok. Closer to where I want to be? Oh, okay, this one, 2-bedroom, 3,500. I don't think I want to be in another building like that. Check this one. He then sends an apartment. I love you for helping, but I promise you if it is an apartment, I have seen it. He sends another one. Oh, check this one.
It also wasn't our furniture. I was just a boyfriend who came to help her build it as much as I could.
I'm not going to reread this one because he literally just posted this a little bit ago and I just read it. It's the same thing about her not owning any furniture.
Yeah, and he's harping on the fact that, well, it wasn't our furniture, it was hers, and I was just being a good boyfriend and helping her build it. Okay, so you're just kind of proving that she wasn't lying and there was furniture that was built. She just happened to say it was ours since you guys were basically living together in terms of switching locations a lot, being with each other a lot. I'm talking myself in circles.
Who did I date? Not marry. Lie number 3.
I remember one night he literally started hysterically sobbing because I said, as a joke, that Kid Rock was hot.
This is not true, so let's get this story straight. This fight happened on the 20th of August. It was my best friend's birthday, and I was taking him and his wife out to dinner. And you can see here that I invited Brooke to dinner, and it was going to be the four of us.
She has a new boyfriend, and then like random people like Tana's hair girl and her kids, kinda. Confusion. I'm just gonna stay with Imari, apologies if I am pronouncing that incorrectly, and Ty, and then leave when I want to KMS. I don't want to say that. Anyway, well, I'll get a table for 4 tonight, just in case you want to come. It's at 9:45 anyways, so super late. Okay, baby, are you gonna be okay? Yeah, I just wish you were here. I feel like I don't have fun without you anymore.
So he's not lying about the fact that she didn't go, I guess. But what does that have to do with Kid Rock?
So we're at dinner. First of all, she did not say Kid Rock was hot. She said I would fuck the shit out of Kid Rock. It was just uncomfortable, and I was embarrassed in front of my friends, I feel like, as anyone would be. But now thinking back, maybe I wouldn't have cared. But in the moment, it was a bit uncomfortable. Here's proof of her saying I would fuck the shit out of Kid Rock. And here's more proof of her saying I would fuck the shit out of Kid Rock and not Kid Rock was hot.
I have a feeling these texts are going to be bizarre, but anyway, here we go. Stop texting me. If you want to talk to me, you can talk to me. I'm going to bed. I won't say the fuck thing again. Yes, of course, I will work on meeting you halfway and understand that it was a joke. And I felt like I did, because first of all, I didn't get mad at you, Brooke. I didn't get mad. I said, hey, that joke you made me feel uncomfortable, and I don't want to honestly hear you say I'd fuck blank even if it was a joke. I said that in a very clear and calm way, and all I wanted to hear was, oh shit, that makes you feel uncomfortable. Okay, I won't joke about me wanting to fuck someone else. I know that seems dumb to you because in your head you know it's a joke, but I also know it's a joke. I just will always feel uncomfortable, no matter if it involves my girlfriend saying I want to fuck blank, whoever it is. And I didn't get mad, I literally just told you it made me feel like uncomfortable, and honestly, I wasn't trying to start a fight, not ever, not then. You just react in a way that literally makes me feel like it's not okay for me to feel uncomfortable about it, and that in turn degrades my feelings and makes me feel like dog shit. Really, the only thing I ask is to just acknowledge that I have feelings. Acknowledge that I have different things that make me feel uncomfortable than you or... and the rest of the message is cut off.
So if we're just going by those screenshots, it does seem like she said something a little bit more than Kid Rock was hot, and that made him very uncomfortable. Okay, that's fine. I guess you got her there, Clinton. Now what?
Okay, so we're sitting there. I'm a bit uncomfortable, but I don't bring it up at dinner because we're with my friends and I just wanted to have fun. I'm showing you this text just so you can see that the dates match.
I know he said he's just showing this text to show that the dates match, but I don't care. I'm gonna read it. I want to know what's going on. Okay, but I have to pee. Okay, go to bathroom. 3 minutes. Okay, here, come in. Where are you? Sorry, I had to fix hair lump. Peeing, pushing hard. What the fuck is this conversation?
We got into a fight about it as soon as we got back into my Airbnb. By the way, when all this happened, I did not know who Kid Rock was, nor what he looked like. So now we're back at my place. Also, there was no hysterical sobbing. I bring it up to her, and I say, hey, that joke you made me feel really uncomfortable. As you can see in this text, that is what I said, and I said it in a very calm, clear, and...
I didn't realize it my first time watching his videos, but he really likes to just keep showing the same text, because I just read this one just a little bit ago, so I'm not going to read it again. It's the same thing. He's just highlighting a different part of it, where he's trying to say that he was very calm about the situation and wasn't hysterically sobbing, but showing a text does not prove that, so I'm not really sure what he's trying to prove here.
I didn't approach this angry or mad at all, as you can see in this text. But of course, it turns into a blowout fight, just like every other fight we had. This fight lasted 2 days, by the way.
So now we're getting to see what the fights were actually like. I didn't get mad, I got uncomfortable, and I spoke nicely, and you went berserk, like you always do. So please just stop that. And if you love me, talk to me like you give any single fuck about me. And it is so exhausting. And then after me saying that, you go. Then break up with me. And the toxic cycle repeats itself. This isn't so hard to figure out, Brooke. And now I won't. See you for a couple of days. Because you can't just stop talking to me like I'm a piece of shit. I have only so much left in me. I am so drained out at these conversations every single fucking time.
He also agrees that this had turned into a blowout fight. So maybe it did start out calm. It clearly did not end that way. And it is aligning with Brooke's story that tensions were high, and so he probably reacted not so calm. Now, I guess, was it hysterically sobbing and throwing a tantrum like she claims? Maybe not. But if these blowout fights were as bad as they both seem to agree on, then I'm leaning towards probably, maybe not sobbing, but something happened, right? These are the tiny details where it gets muddy, and it's kind of just, who do you believe?
This was my text to her, and then this was her response back.
These long ones, OMG. I didn't handle the situation last night right at all, and I'm sorry. I feel like I have been trying to get better about dismissing your feelings and trying not to make you feel like you can't tell me how I feel, but then something like this will happen and we take 10 steps backwards. I feel like it's sometimes hard for me in the moment to actually hear what you are saying and change my perspective, once I have already come to my own conclusion about what our fight is about. Last night, I was so attached to the idea that you were mad at me for making the Kid Rock joke, and after that, I just didn't take the conversation seriously at all. I know that wasn't the point that you were making, and I know I was wrong. I am sorry. I know you keep telling me that I need to explain to you why I react a certain way in fights and get so defensive, but I just truly don't know. I have literally zero life experience when it comes to having healthy and productive arguments with anyone, so sometimes I just genuinely don't even understand what I am doing or saying wrong until I look back on it. I know it isn't an excuse, but it's like I truly will feel like I am saying all the right things to get my point across, and I can't see at all how my words can be hurtful, but they are, and you don't deserve it.
And then I responded to that paragraph.
This is the third time he has showed this screenshot. Apparently this is the saving screenshot. This is what will pull him out of this mess of being accused of hysterically sobbing about Kid Rock. Okay.
And the paragraph continues.
Now we finally get to see the other half of this long text. So I'm going to pick up with the last sentence where I left off. This is about a little over halfway down the screenshot, by the way, if you're following along visually. Acknowledge that I have different things that make me feel uncomfortable than you or make me feel weird than you, and not laugh about it and call me stupid. And literally invalidate my feelings. That is literally all I ask. I am not asking you to bend over backwards for me. I just ask you to consider my feelings and make me feel heard and seen and loved. And almost every time anything has made me feel uncomfortable, I have felt stupid and dumb and invalid for even having feelings that aren't the same feeling as yours.
And then lastly, she responds back with her own paragraph.
Oh my god, I am reading a lot this video. You're right, Clinton, and I am really sorry. Every time I get upset about something, you're always immediately apologetic and understanding, and I would be so sad if you weren't. I'm sorry I have made you feel so shitty and degraded. I always justify everything I say and do to myself so that I feel like I was right and I'm not. I love you so much, and I think the world of you, and I just assume that you know that just because I do. Wait, what? What did that even say? I love you so much, and I think the world of you, and I just assume that you know that just because I do. Okay. I hope you know that I would do anything for you too, and I literally never want you to feel like I take you for granted. I know it seems like I just don't care about your feelings and put you down, but just please understand that all these situations have so much more to do with me than you. Like I just have always felt some weird need to defend myself and justify everything that I do because I immediately feel attacked when someone questions me at all. But I know we have gone over this a million times and I need to be trying harder. I know I've told you this before, but every time we fight, I just immediately feel like you're telling me I am not good enough. And I know that it's not what you mean, but it's just immediately where my head goes and I have to jump straight to defense.
So if you paused and read the paragraphs, you would know what actually happened that night.
You would know what actually happened that night. No, not entirely. There was not a camera set up to record the events. So these paragraphs where he claims, well, I just responded to you calmly and then you invalidated my feelings, that doesn't mean you were telling the truth. I'm sure the argument actually did start out calm because most things do, and it just kept ramping up from there. And Brooke admitting that she got defensive, and you probably just fed off of each other, that it turned into a whole thing, and I'm sure it did. You both are agreeing it was a blowout fight, so it obviously did not stay calm, because then you would not have called it a blowout. Now would you have? So who's to say who was actually in the wrong? I guess Brooke shouldn't have said the comment about Kid Rock, but the blowout fight also should not have happened because of a Kid Rock comment. Basically, this is further telling me that overall, Brooke seems to be telling things correctly, but maybe she has hyperbolized a couple things. And from his screenshots, apparently he seems to be telling things mostly correctly, but he's very, very nitpicky and just does not let certain things go. Is also not addressing the allegations, and is more so nitpicking on, well, we didn't actually live together. Well, her comment about Kid Rock was worse. Things like that that aren't really what Brooke was accusing you of, but okay.
It wasn't Kid Rock was hot, nor was I crying about that. Also, this was the second time that she met my best friends. I'd like to think that it would make anyone uncomfortable at dinner with friends. Obviously, I know it was a joke, and thinking about it now, maybe I wouldn't have been uncomfortable now. I don't know. But at the end of the day, I approached it in a very healthy and calm way. Who did I date, not marry? Lie number 4.
Okay, part 3, who the fuck did I marry? All right, so after the club, he and I went alone to a little diner in LA called Mel's Diner. It's 24 hours. You can go after the club, get fries, shakes, whatever. And he and I order literally every single thing on the menu, and we sit there for like 4 hours and just talk.
May 13th was the first night that we met, the night that she was talking about. We were still at the club at 1:51. It was about to close. I took a video of her at 2:55. So we were there around 2:20, 2:30 a.m. This is my Uber ride receipt, 13th of May. It's gonna scroll down, 3:08 a.m. That is the address of Mel's Diner, taking me back to where I lived. So if we do the math, it's not 4 hours. We were there for an hour.
Unfortunately, I can't play the audio for this one because she is lip syncing to one of Clinton's songs. But you get it.
Okay, so it wasn't 4 hours, but all he is doing by doing this is basically telling me the portions that matter about Brooke's stories seem to be true, that all of these events did happen like she said, but maybe she hyperbolized that it wasn't actually 4 hours, it was 1 hour. Who cares if you were there for 1 hour instead of 4? That is such a minuscule detail.
So I'm at the one hotel, one of the most beautiful hotels in all of Los Angeles, okay? It's like several $1,000s a night for like the night.
No, it wasn't a couple $1,000s a night. A very nice embellishment to make it seem extravagant. It was $600 a night.
No shot did he just pull up how much it actually cost. I feel like the majority of people know what Brooke meant. When she's saying that this is one of the nicest hotels in LA, it's a couple $1,000s a night, she's basically trying to put the fact in our heads that this is an expensive hotel. He pulls it up. If we're going by this screenshot, let's round up $650. And this is for one night. Maybe it wasn't a couple $1,000s a night. But in my opinion, and just the majority of hotels I go to, $600 a night is a lot. That is an expensive hotel. Honestly, I feel like he's only trying to be like, see, she's a liar too, just like me. Okay? Except she's lying about the cost of a hotel night and you're lying about the death of your mom. So, allegedly, I don't know. I don't want to... I'm a nobody, but just in case.
Buying me things, doing everything.
Oh, anything good?
I mean, trips and just like stuff like that. We were going on like the dumb, like craziest vacations and like stuff just because he was like trying to keep up with this imaginary like persona he made. But
I'm not sure who is creating the persona here because there were no crazy vacations, nor did I buy her things. We actually only went on 3 little trips.
There were no crazy vacations. But we did go on 3 little trips. So all that's telling me, Clinton, is that you two have different points of views on extravagance in trips. That's all that's telling me.
The first one was Joshua Tree. The second was a hotel in Laguna Beach. And the third was in a hotel in San Diego. All three places were an hour from where we lived. It's really not that crazy.
Me and all, like, it's 7 people to, like, Nobu and pay for every, like, I'm like, what
you
the
just don't have it
fuck?
like that.
Again, another embellishment not needed. There were only 4 of us, not 7. This was the night she was talking about. It was my best friend's birthday. I was taking him and his wife out for dinner.
Again, all he's really doing is telling me that what Brooke is saying is the truth. She's just hyperbolizing a little bit. Okay, so it wasn't 7. It was 4. But if he's footing the bill for everybody, that's still a lot. So I don't get what the point is.
This was the text I sent Brooke that night saying, I'll get a table for 4 tonight in case you want to come at 9:45. Here's another screenshot to confirm that it was Nobu on the 20th of August.
It's almost like he wants to be like, no guys, I don't have actually any money. I don't have any money. Feel bad for me. You made money from your music. Just own the fact that you have. Good for you, you know? Pay for as many people to go to Nobu as you want. It doesn't matter.
Who did I date? Not marry. Lie number 5.
As more time passes, we eventually move to, like, an Airbnb in Marina Del Rey because he wanted to be by the beach. And so we go over there. And this man is not allowing me to go home, okay? This was the first major red flag. Like, if I had a morning where I was like, okay, like, I want to go home and, like, get new clothes and shower and, like, just be a human and be alone for a second, he would immediately, like, shut down. Like, why don't you want to be with me? Why would you want to go home? Can I come with you? Like, just very strange. And I did not like that, okay? I don't get to leave, remember?
Okay, so some quick background. I booked the Airbnb in Marina Del Rey from May 18th to the 31st. It says 23 here because the remaining days from the 23rd to the 31st, I had booked privately with the owner himself and sent him money on Venmo. Here were the texts that I had with him.
Hey brother, Clinton here. I'm going to extend another week. This Airbnb will Venmo you. Okay, let me check with owner.
And here's the Venmo transaction where I sent him the money for all the remaining days. The first thing that she says is that we moved to Marina Del Rey. We didn't move to Marina Del Rey. She went back to her apartment after the one hotel, and I moved myself to Marina Del Rey. I checked into the Marina Del Rey Airbnb by myself on the 18th of May. This was our conversation, and she sent me a pic of the dinner that she made.
I need to apply for that apartment. Mine is so dark and sad. Apply now. What are you waiting for? On my phone, my body hurts.
And the next part, she says, I didn't let her leave. I have no idea why she would say this. This is a complete lie. She left multiple times without me stressing.
This very much seems to be like he is harping on the fact that, like, I didn't chain her up. She could have physically walked out the door whenever she wanted. And she did. Like, okay, I'm glad you didn't chain her up and hold her hostage. Like, what do you want from that?
But I'm going to show you every day in Marina Del Rey from the 18th of May to the 31st of May. The next time I saw her was the 19th of May, and she ended up sleeping over. She then left on the 20th of May, as you can see in this text, and I didn't see her for the whole day and night.
Leaving here in 30, on way, 4 away. Okay, good job. It's cold and cloudy here too. Oh, what? Cuddle weather. I just took an hour-long bath that was very nice and read a book. You fit in the bath? Barely. Actually did not fit at all.
And then these are texts from the 21st of May where we went to dinner and then ended up seeing some friends, and then she slept over on the 21st.
Do you want to leave? No, it's okay. I'll be okay. It just kind of hit me. I don't know what's happening. I'm sorry, Angel. Let me know and I'll fake a stroke. Are you sure you're okay? Not really, but I'm figuring it out. What do you need? I'm gonna leave. It's totally okay if you want to stay. I'll come with you unless you don't want me to. Of course I do, but if you want to stay and go out with them, I swear I will not feel anything about it. No.
She then left on the 22nd.
Miss ya. I already miss your face. My room was a mess. My roommate was staying in it. All excited to come home to my perfect room, and no. Oh fuck, that's dumb. That's kinda annoying. I'm sorry. Hopefully you get this new place ASAP so you can have your own space. How are you? Are you okay, love? Annoying, but whatever.
Just more texts to prove that we did not see each other on the 22nd.
Kiss me. I'm hiding out so you like me more. I already like you a lot. You know what I like. What do you like? Winning Uno. What? You will never beat me at Uno, even with Adderall. I can teach you, though. Is that how you speak to a lady? Miss you, you idiot.
And then she ended up sleeping over on the 23rd of May. And then in the same text, you can see that she left on the 24th of May.
I'm carsick. In a meeting. Call you in a little. Are you downstairs? Yes. Miss you, cutie. Come back. Miss you. How was your meeting? Good. Just about to finish. What are you doing? Productive. I'm being very productive. Nice. You're doing great, sweetie.
We weren't together the day of the 24th, but we ended up going to an Olivia Rodrigo show that night. And then I dropped her back home, and then I went back home that night.
I really like you, and I don't want to mess it up. Sorry, I was on the phone with my manager talking about the Olivia show. You won't. Don't worry. I had the best time. Thank you for bringing me. I miss you. Love seeing you tonight, cutie. I'll see you tomorrow. Sweet dreams, love. Good night, angel.
And then on the 25th of May, she was out with her friends. I was supposed to come and meet up with them, but I just had a lot of work and stress, and I wasn't able to see her that day and night.
Hey, love, I'm on a call right now, and I'll call you about it in a little bit. But I might not be able to make it tonight. A last-minute meeting came up that I have to take. Let's rain check and plan something for a different day. So you might not make it, or you're not going to make it. Right. I'll call you in 5, love. I'm already with everyone. I get the work thing, obviously, but I just wish I didn't spend the whole week getting all my friends excited to meet you. I wish I was there to meet your friends, and hopefully I can come meet them sometime this week, love. Tonight just got tough, and I have so much going on with new management and an album coming.
And then on the 26th of May, we also didn't see each other. I was filming a music video for a song that was coming out. And then on the 27th of May is when we ended up seeing each other. She came over and slept over. And then in the same text, she left on the 28th of May with no problem.
I'm on the way home. Should I get you an Uber? I'll get it. We'll leave in a sec. Okay, let me know whenever you leave. Getting an Uber. Okay, perfect. Little Rat? Is that a nickname for him? Okay. Hey, you here? Yes. My phone died. Coming down. Miss you, my princess. Miss you more, lover. I love how she called him Little Rat and Princess all in the same screenshot.
And in the same day, on the 28th of May, she ended up going to Catalina Island with her friends until the 30th of May, and I was in LA working.
I miss you. I'm sad. I miss you more, lover. How is boat and holiday vlog?
This is just more text to prove that fact.
When do you get back? What time? I miss you more. Tomorrow night, but I think I'm gonna make my boat earlier. Okay. What are you doing tomorrow? I just have work stuff at home until 7, then music video. From 8 to 10 at night. Oh yeah. It's the last day of music video. Why? Yay, I'm excited to see it, just wondering.
And then on the 30th of May, I picked her up in the morning when she got back from Catalina Island.
I'll see you in the morning, lover. Morning, hottie. Send me Addie of where to go. She sends the address. Okay. Hey, LC. What's LC? I don't know what that means. Hi, lover. What's your ETA? 15 minutes. Perfect. You there yet? Almost. Like pulling up.
We only saw each other, had lunch in the morning, and then I dropped her off because I had to film a music video the whole day and night that day.
I miss you. OMG, I love him. I will die. He's exactly like me. So cute. OMG. How are you? Good, I just finished my video. Hi. Hi, lover. Actually not done yet.
And then on the 31st of May, I was still filming the music video, and we didn't see each other that day.
I have separation anxiety. Me too. I miss you so much. I want to be with you all the time. Did you get your nails done or what? Nope. Clinton has no time. Did he just refer to himself in the third person? Okay. I need to find someone to come to my house. Literally, I'm going to do your nails at this point.
And more text to prove that.
How was your movie? Hi. It was great. Had to cut it short because finishing music video. How are you? What are you doing?
So you did leave with no problem. I never stopped you. There's no red flag here.
He really wants to make it clear that he did not restrain her, which, legally speaking, that is a good thing to make clear. But that's also not what she meant when she said that. Again, context clues. Understanding human speech. Anyway.
Who I date, not marry, lie number 6.
Part 6, who the fuck did I marry? Okay, we are now in a committed relationship. All right, and one thing about Clinton is he loved to go on a trip. So this time it was Joshua Tree. He's like, let's go to Joshua Tree. Let's just spend the weekend. It'll be so relaxing, amazing, whatever. We can work. Great.
No, we weren't in a committed relationship before we went to Joshua Tree. As you can see here, we went to Joshua Tree from June 3rd to June 6th. This text was before Joshua Tree, June 2nd, from our mutual friends at the time. And I clearly state that we're not in a relationship yet. And on 7th June, a day after Joshua Tree, I then call her my girlfriend for the first. And just to reinforce this point, 9th June was the first time I told a friend that she had become my girlfriend.
Okay, so they weren't committed yet, but they're both agreeing that this Joshua Tree trip did happen. She's just saying that they were already dating, and he's like, no, not yet, not really. We weren't that committed yet. He was never committed at all, but that's like neither here nor there.
Who did I date, not marry, lie number 7.
So this time it was Joshua Tree. He's like, let's go to Joshua Tree. Let's just spend the weekend. It'll be so relaxing, amazing, whatever. We can work. Great. On the way there, we get pulled over. In his car, he drove a Model X at the time. And when the cop asked for license and registration, he gave his license, his Australian license, and he gave the registration to the car, which was not his. Not his car. But we keep going, and I ask him about it, and he's like, oh, like, that's a fake ID. I got it mixed up. We got lucky. And I'm in my head like, that doesn't happen, but whatever. Also, who has a fake ID to appear younger?
She's right. None of this happened. First of all, we didn't get pulled over going to Joshua Tree. We got pulled over going back to LA from Joshua Tree.
I haven't even kept going, but I'm just like, I'm harping so hard on the fact that like, it's like a competition of like lie for lie. I feel like he's trying to make it like, okay, and here's the time she lied. And here's the time she lied. He's like, we did not get pulled over on the way to Joshua Tree. We got pulled over on the way home from Joshua Tree. Oh, my bad. Like, my bad. He's like, yeah, the car was registered in someone else's name. What about it? What about it is that you told me that was your car and you were my boyfriend. That's not your car. That's what about it?
I low-key can't even tell if he's being serious. We didn't get pulled over on the way there, dumb bitch. We got pulled over on the way back. Okay, so Brooke misremembered that it was on the way back, not on the way there. Either way, her saying that you got pulled over was accurate. You just confirmed it.
Here's the text on 6th June, the day we left Joshua Tree. I said thank you for driving the rest of the way back because after being pulled over, I couldn't drive the rest of the way.
I am so tired, Jesus Christ. Thank you for driving the rest of the way. Did you figure out your video? No, I'm just saying I don't want it to seem like we fight now. We don't fight. It's not our thing. Oop, famous last words. I compromised with Natalie and I'm finishing a YouTube deal today and get to do the shorts video tomorrow, so I have daylight. I miss you. I have separation sadness. I miss you more.
Second of all, I did not give a fake Australian license. I actually didn't give any license. I had told the cop that I left my license and ID at home, and he ended up giving me a ticket for it. And in the state of California, as you can see here, if I gave a fake license like she said, we would have not been able to continue on our trip and would have to go to the station. And in regards to the car was registered to my friend. I don't understand what the big deal is.
So his argument here instead is, I didn't give him a fake license. I didn't have a license on me. He's saying, like, if I gave a fake one, we definitely have to, like, go to the station because they would have caught me. But either way, Brooke says that she gets, like, the red flag when the cop says out of his mouth, so you were born in 99 or something like that. She didn't say that she saw the license. She said she heard the cop. And the only reason she brought that up was because of the age discrepancy, which he does not address here at all. All he's addressing is when they got pulled over and that, no, I didn't have a fake ID. I didn't have an ID on me at all. Okay, why were you driving without a license?
Who did I date? Not marry. Lie number 8.
When the cop asked for license and registration, he gave his license, and then the cop is like reciting his information back to him, and he says, you were born in 1999. And I am under the impression that my boyfriend is a year younger than me, okay? And this would make him like 4 years younger than me. I understood the age thing a little bit just because I don't think I would have dated somebody if I knew they were 22.
Yeah.
I had to find that out on my own.
I never told you.
No. He actually went on the Zach Sang show, and that's how it all...
Oh.
I read the comments on the Zach Sang show, and that's when people were like, first of all, he's 20.
When we got pulled over in Joshua Tree, that was June 6th, and the podcast that I did was on July 25. Clearly, she says two different stories about how she found out about my age. Which one is it? Another contradiction.
So that video, he's just disputing with her on when she found out about his true age. He never says, well, no, my age has, I've always been 25 or whatever. No, he never says that. All he says is that, well, she's lying because she's figuring out on different times because these different timestamps. Okay, well, she's accusing you of lying about your age. How old are you? And he just conveniently did not answer that question.
Who did I date? Not marry. Lie number 9.
And one thing about Clinton is he loved to go on a trip. All right, he wanted to get me as far away from everybody else as possible. I had seen my friends in 6 months. Like, it was crazy. It was.
First of all, if you watch the video on line number 2, you would know that out of 125 days, we only saw each other 64 days, and the rest of the 60 days were completely up to her on whether or not she wanted to see her friends. I did not isolate her, nor am I responsible for what she does on those days when she didn't see me. Here are texts to show that I very much encouraged her and was happy that she was going to hang with friends. Here's one text.
He shows a lot of text in this video, so let's read them. Are you gonna be okay? Yeah, I just wish you were here. I feel like I don't have fun without you anymore. I miss you. How is it? I love you. I'm having fun, but I wish you were here. Come please. What are you writing about? Oh, you are having fun? That's good, baby. Yes, lol, me and Ty ran off alone. Love that. Writing.
Here's another text.
Good or bad? Both. How's your night going? Good. I'm a little tipsy. Now we're having dinner. Good. Have fun tonight, lover. Are you hanging up on me? No, I was just saying have fun tonight. I'm still here. Okay, good. We will. I'm excited. I wish you were here. I know. I wish I could.
I'm on my way home right now. I'm gonna get ready really quick and go meet a couple of my guy friends for drinks because I haven't seen them in a long time.
Running 1,000,000 miles an hour, it is fucking insane. I'm supposed to be depressed after, right? I really hope not. I'm already depressed. How's the lip stuff? What are you doing? And then Brooke sends the voice message. You're beautiful, whatever lips you have. Have fun at drinks, lover. Call me later. Miss you, cutie. Hi, baby. Miss you.
Another text.
What are your plans next couple of nights? Do you have dinners, etc.? I have dinner tomorrow for Jassie's B-Day? I don't know who that is. And a meeting on Thursday at 1, but no dinner. I don't know if I'm gonna go to Jassie's though. I'm so sorry if I'm saying that wrong. Oh, why not? I don't know, maybe I will. Why are you doubting going? You don't like her? I love her, I just don't know if I care to be around her husband and Molly and everyone. Ah, yeah, I see. Kind of annoying, LMAO.
Another text.
Trying to figure out where we could go. I'll figure something out. I'll find something in Venice probably, maybe. Okay, we can go wherever you want. Okay, do you want to hang tonight? If not, it's okay. Like if you want to stay with your friends. Of course. No, I am already dinner. Okay, what? Dinner. Confusion. No, baby, I'm saying I've been hanging out with them.
And more texts.
This last one I know I already read before, but I've already read this much, I'ma just read it again. So you might not make it or you're not going to make it, right? I'll call you in 5, love. I'm already with everyone. I get the work thing obviously, but I just wish I didn't spend the whole week getting all my friends excited to meet you. I wish I was there to meet your friends and hopefully I can come meet them sometime this week, love. Tonight just got tough and I have so much going on with new management and an album coming. I get it, next time tell me, 30 minutes before doesn't count. The whole time I'm like, oh, he'll come later, and it's embarrassing.
The idea that I manipulated her into isolation and not seeing her friends is just simply false. This is a serious accusation, and it is just not true.
Yeah, I mean, if we're going purely based on those texts alone, he just seems to be saying a lot of variations of, like, have fun, I'll miss you. I guess in those instances he was being supportive, but that's not to say Brooke was lying too, because there could be other instances outside of those screenshots where he was not so supportive, but he just doesn't want to show that. But Brooke saying that she was getting isolated is from how much time she was spending with him and all the trips and stuff.
Who did I date? Not marry. Lie number 10.
I feared for his mental health, okay? I didn't want anything to do with that because I couldn't do it in good conscience. I have been very adamant about like not wanting to talk about that online, like at all.
You'll never want something to come out that could ruin your whole like career.
Yeah.
Like, and I still loved him. I had a good relationship with him. Like, he was a good boyfriend. Which,
when that whole thing first happened, I like was hesitant to talk about it online because I was like so scared, and I just like felt bad for him. I feared for his mental health.
No, she did not care about my mental health, which is totally fine. Just don't lie about it. Her only concern was threatening and manipulating me a month after our relationship in October. This was completely premeditated, and I will show you proof right now. This is the first text.
Oh, I forgot your girlfriend is over. Oh, I am doing it. And then what is this, bro? Like, do you know that someone offered me $25,000 to tell your story? Okay.
This is the second text.
And I have BPD and I'm spiraling. That is what it is. No, it isn't. You just don't deserve my silence anymore. You don't deserve me to just pretend like you didn't do the things you did to me. Want to see a list I made? I don't understand this anymore, Brooke. I really don't. Why can't you just go and live your life? She then sends him a list and try to move on. Why do we have to keep doing this? For what? Because you don't understand the effects of your actions. Oh, wow. Jesus Christ.
I'm going to show you the note now. This is the list that she made and sent to me. Things I could do to Clinton that wouldn't be half as bad as what he did to me on October 31st, 2022, a month after we broke up. And you can see that she's completed a lot of the stuff on the list, even though she keeps on saying she's concerned for my mental health.
Also, I can't wait to get to that little list he posted of all the things that I put in my notes app that I could have done to him that would have been worse than what he did to me, okay? You know what? That's going to be my next part. That was not a threat. That was a statement. That was to give him some perspective of all of what he put me through, what I could do to him, and I'm choosing not to do, okay? And, I mean, it's kind of up in the air now, but at the time, I was choosing peace. Oh, this is about to be my favorite part because I genuinely cannot believe that he was brave enough to post this screenshot himself. I have access to the full note, and you know what? We're gonna go through it together. Reminder, he just posted this on purpose. Like, did you read it, Clinton? Titled the note, Things I Could Do to Clinton That Wouldn't Be Half as Bad as What He Did to Me. Okay, starting with telling the whole world his family is alive. Destroy his career and personal relationships the way he destroyed my life. Leak all of his songs. Tell people that he made me cry every single time that I didn't want to have sex with him. Every single time. Tell the truth about why he canceled half of his tour. Haven't done that. Tell people about the time I said I wanted to off myself and he told me, you won't. And posted the suicide hotline days later on his Instagram story, as a little something for his fans. Tell everyone he's faking his Australian accent. Talk about the time I found a literal sex tape on his phone, okay, from the night before, all right? And he started a fight with me 10 minutes later for not introducing him to a fan who came up to us in New York. Imagine that. He's just swiping through his camera roll and I see that he has a sex tape from the night before I had flown in, okay, of him. And he had the nerve to start a fight with me because a fan came up to me on the street and I said, oh, I'm just here with my friends. And he had convinced me that sex tape wasn't him. It was his friend, which, weird as fuck, but whatever. Next up is talk about the time he tried to kick me out in the middle of the night in a city I don't live in for asking him if he was cheating on me. He was cheating on me. The time he threatened to break up with me over being in the same room as a man I used to see while he was simultaneously asking girls on Instagram to come to his hotel and have sex with him. Talk about how he tried to cheat on his ex with me and lied about it. You guys know about this one. Talk about the way that he swore he graduated from pre-med and got accepted to Oxford. But he doesn't know where babies came from. He's literally so fucking unbelievably dumb. You guys know this one, the time he pretended it was his mom's birthday in the middle of dinner and cried in my arms all night. It literally was not her birthday, and she also did not die. Tell people about the imaginary fortune he made up for literally no fucking reason. The time he told me he did not believe in mental illness and you can literally change your mind when his entire brand revolves around mental health. He literally told me, my mom is an addict, he told her she could stop at any time. I nearly made him drop me off on the side of the road. I could tell everyone that the first time he cheated on me was only 48 hours after we started dating officially. What about that? I could point out how he was accusing me of being a gaslighter, manipulator our entire relationship when, like, hello, the call's coming from inside the house. I could talk about how he would not post me on Instagram because he knew that girls would DM me with stories. You guys, I mean, he posted this in one of his screenshots himself. He would not, like, if I were to go and watch him perform, he would repost Tana, he would repost Ari, he would repost all my friends, never me, because he knew that there would be girls who would come forward and say, hey, that's crazy, he has a girlfriend? I could talk about all the times he cried and pouted like a fucking baby because I would call him insecure, because he was constantly accusing me of cheating, which is what, as we know, a cheater does, and he was cheating on me the entire time. I could make sure no woman in her right mind ever gives him a chance to do the same thing to her, okay? I stand behind that. That's what I'm doing now. Point out how he has genuinely never showed any remorse for any of it, and you can see that in his videos. Are you kidding me? He's sitting there like, she's a liar. Clinton. Talk about the time I waited weeks for an in-person conversation and he stood me up to see Fred again, okay? And that's how his music ended up so, you know. The time he literally called the cops on me and told them that I was gonna off myself, which, I mean, in retrospect is like kind of a slay, like, thanks for that. Flew a new girl out 2 weeks after asking me to get back together, and he told her the most disgusting, horrible lies about me that she just obviously sent straight to me, and I went ahead and got her right back to where she came from. Or I could talk about how he literally likes high school aged girls. Mind you, that has since been proven. I left this part of the note out, okay? This was the part where I said the things that I do instead. I said I protect him and his reputation even though he literally does not give a fuck if I live or die. I make vague TikToks to hold me over, okay? Because you know me, you guys. I can't, I'm a yapper. I pretend for my own self that he loved me for real and that our relationship was real so that I don't again. And I pretend that he is not a horrible, lying, narcissistic sociopath so that I, again, don't off myself, okay?
The argument here is a little weird. His argument in this is purely she doesn't care about my mental health, and what he's showing isn't really that. She has a right to speak up. He's almost implying that, like, well, if she actually cared about my mental health, she wouldn't say anything. That's not how that works. But if this was her experience, she has a right to speak up about what she experienced, so.
Also, keep in mind that in the last 2 years, she's been on 30 different podcasts and more talking about the same shit. This is another text that shows it. This was also in October.
You should please take your own advice. Like, why are you still talking about me? Can you not just live your life? Like, holy fuck? Are you kidding? Why do you still care? Why do I still care? Like, holy, we are broken up. No, you don't care. You just want attention and to make my life a living hell. Do you genuinely not understand that I can ruin your life tomorrow? And that is the epitome of you. Stop, please. If you want to do it, please do it. Oh, I am doing it.
And then another text stating the same thing.
Holy shit. Suck my fucking dick, Clinton. Goodbye. Please just, I don't know what to do anymore. No, goodbye forever, Clinton. Watch what I can do. Okay, Brooke. You say I won't. Watch. Go crazy.
And then a tweet on January 18, 2023.
The tweet is literally just career-ruining era.
I don't think she was very much concerned with my mental health.
Her finally realizing how messed up the situation is and that she has a right to speak up has nothing to do with your mental health. Now, her speaking up will most likely affect your mental health, but you implying that she must stay quiet in order for your mental health to be saved is a burden that she doesn't have to bear. Let's keep going. Jesus Christ, I've been filming forever, guys. Oh my god.
Who I date, not marry, lie number 11.
Now, were any of his friends, like, that you would hang around with, didn't they know him from the past?
No,
or?
that was a huge red flag of mine too that I should have paid attention to. He had 0 long-term friends. Like, I have friends, obviously, that I've known since I was a kid and stuff, or even just a few years. Nobody in his life knew him for longer than a year.
I'm very confused about this. She's met a handful of my friends that I've known for a year and longer. And had our relationship lasted longer than 3 months, she would have met more. This picture was taken the second night that we met. There are 3 people behind her who she met that I have known for over 3 years. We even went to one of my best friend's weddings, who I've known for 6 years. And to cap it all off, she was at my album release party where she met a lot of my friends.
This is definitely one of those nitpicking ones again, because Brooke mainly meant long-term friends, and so he did say he had a friend he'd known for 6 years, and that's sort of long-term, but she was kind of implying like childhood, lifelong friends. I don't know, seems like this argument didn't really do anything for him, or anything for Brooke either. This just seemed like dumb to talk about, like what did this accomplish? I don't think it accomplished anything for either side.
Who did I date? Not marry. Lie number 12.
And just like he said I love you like 3 days after we met.
No, this did not happen. We met on May 13th. This conversation was on the 11th of June.
So I am going to be reading the note, well, as best I can. The handwriting is a little funky, but I believe it says, "Honestly, I'm so drunk, I don't even know what to do. All I know is that Brooke Schofield is my favorite person in this world." And that is a picture that Brooke sent to Clinton. And then Clinton said, I don't even remember writing this down. You're my favorite. It looks like Helen Keller wrote it. Who's Helen Keller? It's kind of wild that Brooke said it looks like Helen Keller wrote it, but it's also equally wild that Clinton doesn't know who Helen Keller is. Some of their exchanges in these screenshots kind of blow me away. Maybe it's because I just don't text like this, but I don't know, man.
This was the first time she jokingly said, "I love you," a whole month after we met.
And she flew airplanes. Oh yes, oh shit, that's kind of sick. So that was an insult. I'm just joking, I love you. Did you just say love you? Ugh. Oh, wait, that emoji was an accident. That's way more dramatic than me. Why, ugh, I'm confused. Did you just say love you? Stop putting me on the spot, I'll block you. Wait.
More text to prove that.
What's happening, Brooke Schofield? Nothing is happening, stop bullying me. Brooke, I swear to God, what did that mean? I said I love you like casual fun I love you. I wouldn't drop a bomb like you over text. Abbreviated. Ah, okay. Or would I? You're annoying me. Tell me, what did you mean?
And then on the 15th of June, a whole month after we met, we said love you. And then on top of that, she said, "I love you" first.
I'm not hanging up on you. I just want to let you sleep and have a new day tomorrow. Love you. Love you more, cutie. I asked God for you, and we don't talk much. I love you so much. It feels so nice to finally be able to say it. Was missing something on top of you're my favorite. Good night, baby. Nighty, lover. Good morning, baby. Hi, angel.
That also doesn't necessarily mean shit anyway, because that is purely their text. What about verbal I love yous? He very much could have said I love you verbally 3 days in, like Brooke said, and we would have no way of knowing.
Who did I date? Not marry. Lie number 13.
I mean this in the most humble way possible. Truly. Like I really, truly do. Canceled amasses more listeners in one singular week than Clinton Kane has in an entire year. I'm sorry.
She has stated that they get more listeners in a week than I get in a year, but I'm going to give them a month instead of a week. For the month of April 2024, they had 8.4 million listeners. And in 1 year, for just one of my songs, only on Spotify, I had 84 million. And on top of that, this was last year on Spotify alone, where I only released 4 songs.
And then he made the little chart of how his music does in comparison to Canceled. Clinton, we're selling out theater after theater after theater, and you haven't done a show in years, okay? Because no one will buy your tickets. Don't forget it.
What? You know damn well when Brooke said that, she meant more so of I don't need him, we're better off without him, I'm fine. And he starts actually number crunching. Huh? I'm losing my mind. What are you not understanding? You know damn well she didn't mean that completely literally. She just meant she's doing fine, she does not need you. And you're actually, if you go on Spotify and do this, I'm way more popular than you. Okay? Congrats. I can say I've definitely heard of Brooke. I knew who she was before this. I had never heard the name Clinton Kane, and apparently your Chicken Tendies song is super popular. Never heard of it. Never heard the song. Never heard that name for a song. No idea who you are.
Who did I date? Not marry. Lie number 14.
Treating underlying mental health conditions is very important, because had I known what was wrong with me, I would have never gone near that man to begin with.
But you did know.
I first got diagnosed with BPD, I was literally like, I'm like, that is not true. What year was it? Do you remember when you found out? I think I was like 17 or 18. Oh, you were young. What are you diagnosed with? I have borderline personality and then just depression and anxiety, but... Is it a personality disorder? Yeah. Is it borderline? Yeah. And then how do you correct it, or how do you deal with it? I don't know that I do. You haven't done it yet? No. Like, how you regulate? I don't regulate. At the time I was like not medicated, not taking anything for like any of my little mental situations. So when I moved to California, I didn't have or couldn't transfer my prescription or whatever. I just never went and...
As someone who's been diagnosed with major anxiety and panic disorder, mental health is no fucking joke.
Okay, I do think Clinton's got Brooke there in that sentence specifically, where she's saying, I didn't know what was wrong with me, where it seems like she did. But also, we don't know, the rest of her medical history. What if she has something else going on that she's never spoke on and we don't know about, and she didn't know that at the time? But what she mainly kept harping on was that she was unmedicated. Now, she did say in that one sentence that she didn't know, so maybe that was a lie and she should not have said that, but she kept saying she was unmedicated. And these receipts that he's showing here does not prove that she was medicated during that time. For all we know, going by Brooke's words, she probably was unmedicated and did not know how much the medication would help her of whatever she was taking. But I will agree with Clinton here that maybe she shouldn't have said that, if that is true.
Who did I date, not marry? Lie number 15.
He weaponized the BPD thing so much. He was very much like, well, you're overreacting, and obviously you do that. That's why, is this one of your episodes right now? Yeah, and it makes me apprehensive to even tell.
No, I did not weaponize anything. Here are screenshots clearly stating that I had no idea BPD was even a factor throughout our 3-month relationship.
So in this text, Brooke sends Clinton a link to what I assume is an article titled Helping Someone with Borderline Personality Disorder. And then Clinton says, okay, all these points are literally what I felt. What? I wish I read this sooner and knew. Fuck, literally everything is you. I thought you knew. I didn't. And fuck, I so wish I did. I just didn't want to blame it.
I only found out after we broke up.
You know, I mean, it wouldn't be blaming. It would be what is happening. And it is such a big part. It felt like a cop-out. Because it's literally not something you can easily control. And I didn't even know. And in the moment, I don't think that's what is happening. I truly believe what I say in the moment because I feel it so hard. I get it now. There's no rationalizing with myself because I believe it. I get it. I didn't know. I am not blaming you.
And obviously, I was very compassionate about it when I found out, as you can see in this text.
I didn't know the biggest part of you and why you were hurting me so much. And that was literally the reason I started becoming unhappy. Because just imagine me thinking you had no issue with you and had no BPD. And I was just getting abused left and right, manipulated and just hurt every fight. And we have 4 fights a week. So it's if I had known you were struggling with something, I would have approached everything so differently. It's okay.
Again, similar to the I love you situation, these screenshots don't prove shit. Because verbally, he could have weaponized it against her. Now, in those screenshots, okay, he didn't. Sure. But verbally, he still could have, and he doesn't have anything to disprove that. All he's showing is in these texts specifically, he did not.
Who did I date, not marry? Lie number 16.
He must also speak another language that he never told me about. So how scary is that? So how scary is that? So how scary is that?
How scary is it for someone to be bilingual? I don't understand why this would be scary. And second, we dated for 3 months. Would anyone know everything about someone in 3 months?
I'm a little unsure what point he was trying to make. I mean, I guess she was probably hyperbolizing that it was scary. I think she just meant in terms of you could be connected to the world in a whole other way that she was unaware about. But yeah, maybe scary wasn't the right term. I can agree with him on that. And if the relationship was only 3 months, it's still weird that you didn't bring that up because I feel like that's a very cool fact that you can tell people. Because if I was bilingual, I'd let people know. I think that'd be a cool fact about me. So, like, why wouldn't you? But at the same time, he's not obligated to, so... Honestly, that whole thing doesn't even seem like a negative on either side. It just seems like there was a slight miscommunication about communicating that fact. That's literally it. I don't think that does anything else besides that.
Who did I date? Not marry. Lie number 17.
All of these girls like had no idea who I was. I'm like, oh my God. Did he not post you on socials? Did you post him or are you guys private that way? He demanded that I post him because he wanted to make sure everyone knew I had a boyfriend. Oh, how weird.
No, I never demanded to be posted, and I will show you texts to prove that. This text shows that the fact she had to ask me to be posted shows that I didn't demand to be posted.
I literally do not want to talk. And then she sends the picture that she wants to post and asks, can I post this? He says sure, and she says, I love you.
Here's another text that shows that I genuinely did not care.
It just changes everything, makes me literally never want to film with you again. What? You're posting things I don't want people to know about? I fully want to be in your videos and I fully want to be everywhere. I'm not forcing you to like put me in your videos or saying, hey, I want to be in it. I am just going with the flow with the girlfriend whom I love that I am not afraid to be in public with. Then what the fuck is the difference? Stop swearing.
And here she also clearly states that I didn't demand, I encouraged her to post vlogs, etc.
It makes no difference to me whether or not your fans know we're dating. That does not matter to me. What matters to me is that everyone on my end knows we're dating, because of stories you encourage me to post and vlogs you encourage me to film. Like, how fucking stupid do I look parading my new happy relationship online when you won't even dare to repost one of my stories? It is embarrassing. It makes me look stupid. Like, I want to delete my story from today. I want to not have those vlogs online because it just looks like I'm posting things you don't want people to know about. I know you are good about it in real life, and I love that about you. But it doesn't make anything better. You talk about trust issues. Imagine how I feel, a boyfriend who doesn't want people to know he has a girlfriend. Everyone knows already. That's what makes it even worse. Like, literally, how humiliating is it that my boyfriend is literally dodging any opportunity to acknowledge me online? I have people swiping up on my story going, girl, stop posting him.
I didn't encourage her to post me or about me. We were going to a lot of fun places and I encouraged her to post for her. And then here's another text to prove more that I did not demand to be posted.
I am just explaining my side of the book. If you want to not post about me, then don't post about me. That's up to you. I didn't know you were only doing that so that I would post. I thought you just wanted to. I feel so uneasy, I don't know what to do now. And you are swearing at me and being mean when there is no need, when we could talk this through nicely and politely. Also, I wasn't gaslighting. That is literally the reason, but now you asked me to explain, so I sat down and thought about it. And what I said might be one of them. I know your page is about your music. I get that. No one is asking you to post a swipe set of me professing your love, but purposefully not reposting my stories, even singing ones? Like, you can repost everyone else, post funny shit of your friends, etc., but reposting your girlfriend when I am literally flying a blimp through the sky with your name on it. Too much to ask. I feel like these screenshots definitely do not help Clinton at all.
I feel like that's just a very, very minor point in terms of everything else that I really don't care whether you did demand to be posted or not, because I feel like there's a lot bigger fish to fry here.
Who did I date? Not marry. Lie number 18.
He had told me that his ex, who I Guess I'm in Love is about, by the way, one of the most beautiful songs ever. People use it as their wedding song. It's like, I mean, it's his biggest song.
It feels like more of a SoundCloud thing.
No, he was like, you've probably heard, like, he had one, like, really huge song, and, like, that was, like, the whole thing, but about his dead mom, whatever.
The song that she's talking about, that's my biggest song, is called I Guess I'm in Love. First, she says my biggest song is about a girl I was in love with. And then second, she says my biggest song is about my mom. If you're gonna lie, try to keep it straight.
Hold on, there's no fucking way. The words just came out of this man's mouth. He said, if you're gonna lie, try to keep it straight. You said your mom fell down the stairs and she owned Birkenstocks and she was in a coma and she got hit by a car. Like, what the fuck are you even talking about? He's referencing me saying, like, one of his songs is about his ex-girlfriend and one of his songs is about his dead mom. Both true. Two of his biggest songs, you dumb fucking idiot.
If you're gonna lie, try to keep it straight. her mixing up if it was about his mom or if it was about a girl truly, honestly just sounds like a mistake, because how many times have we said things of like, oh, it's about this, and then you change it around because you just forgot. Okay, maybe it was about your mom, maybe it was about a girl, maybe it was about both of them. I don't know, don't care. I feel like he keeps pointing out things that truly just do not matter. Like, why did you need to make a whole video just for that?
Who did I date, not marry, lie number 19.
Sometimes if I felt like he was really being irrational, I would record our arguments because I'd like to show them to him the next day. He knew I did this, by the way. This is not illegal.
I'm addressing Brooke directly. Brooke, you know that you never asked for consent. I never knew you were doing this. You never showed me the next day, like you said in this video. And you know this is fucking illegal in the state of California. And this is fucking disgusting. And the fact that you feel the need to secretly record someone in a 3-month relationship is concerning.
Listen, I'm a lot of things, but I am not stupid, okay? I know better than to do or say anything online that's gonna get me sued, okay? I did record a lot of our fights because they were so irrational and they were so just fucking like abusive and horrible that I needed to have them. I didn't have intent to share them, whatever, but he knew that I did this. I had a lot of clips that I could have used that would have made him look a lot worse, okay? A lot more emotionally abusive, a lot more horrible, a lot more narcissistic, a lot more honestly embarrassing, but I didn't use those. I chose the clip that I chose for a very specific reason. I chose that clip because in it, he says, okay, Brooke, turn it off. As in, turn the camera off. Meaning, he knew the camera was on. You're not gonna come on here and say, recording a conversation in California is illegal when you straight up say in the video, Brooke, turn it off. And if we want to talk illegal, I didn't even have to make those videos. That panned out on its own.
She is saying he knew about it. She showed him the video the next day. Nothing illegal is going on. He's saying, no, I didn't know about it. She never showed me anything. This is very illegal. Who do you believe? There's really no proof either way. However, Brooke did show the video itself to everybody else, and I definitely feel like if it was not clear that he knew about it, she would not share it because she wouldn't want to get in trouble with the law. That's it. That's all I got.
Who did I date, not marry, lie number 20.
And this album was special because it was this first piece of work that he was putting out since everything had happened. The whole album was about that, of course. All his music is about his family being...
We're going to take a look at all of my songs. This is the first EP. None of it is about my family. Not about my family. Not about my family. Not about my family. Not about my family. One about my family. Not about my family. One about my family. Not 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 about my family. You got a 3. So instead of all of my music, it's more like 3 out of 28 songs are about my family.
This is honestly getting so frustrating. I don't care how many of those songs were about your family. Okay, so Brooke said all of them, and it is in fact not all of them. I don't give a shit. I don't care if they all were about your family versus if they all weren't. This doesn't really discredit Brooke's story.
Who did I date, not marry, lie number 21. So for the longest time, she has said that my dad is alive. But 5 months ago, she did a podcast confirming that he was dead. 5 months ago.
His mom, dad, and brother alive. His mom and his brother are alive.
But a month after that podcast, she must have forgotten because apparently now he's alive again. 4 months ago.
His mom, dad had all died and we mourned them every day. And then they were alive.
And then again, 2 months after that podcast, she confirmed again that he was alive. 2 months ago.
It's the death of his entire family. You have 2 alive parents.
But then a week ago, he was back to being dead.
His dad is dead. Not that that's a good thing.
So first you say that he was dead 5 months ago. And then 4 months ago, you said that he was alive. And then 2 months ago, you again said he was alive, but then a week ago, he's suddenly dead again. It sounds like you just say whatever you want to say and whatever is convenient. And for the record, he is dead. It sounds like you just say whatever you want to say and whatever is convenient. And for the record, he is dead.
You just say whatever you want to say and whatever is convenient. You conveniently faked the death of your mother and your brother and lied about being like Clinton, I think you have to hire a publicist. This is not good.
So he's finally talking about the family members being dead. But what he's specifically addressing is only the dad, who is in fact dead. And in Brooke's most recent TikTok series, she does say he is dead. Apparently she has flip-flopped in past episodes that sometimes he was dead, sometimes he wasn't. Okay, but it is confirmed that he is dead. He just confirmed it there. Brooke reconfirmed it in her TikTok series, but he is not addressing anything about his mother or brother, which are the big allegations that we're talking about. We know the dad is dead. What about the two that you lied about?
Who did I date? Not marry. Lie number 22.
I would go out with my friends. Like, I remember one night I was at dinner with Tana, and he's blowing me up, like literally sending me novels about how he drank an entire fifth of vodka, he's gonna drive, I need to get to him right now, or he's gonna do crazy things. Like, it was just so manipulative, and I just, like, I was not equipped.
I remember this night very vividly. I was having a lot of anxiety and panic that day, and I told her that. It was the 13th of July. She wasn't at dinner yet. They were getting ready for dinner. Then she called me back in front of all of her friends, and I was a bit uncomfortable by that because I was in the middle of a panic attack and I didn't want anyone to know.
On the phone, call you in a jiffy. You're gone. You okay, baby? No, I can't talk to you like this or say anything. Like, I'm already not good. I literally can't say anything. I am so uncomfortable. I came where no one could hear you.
There were no novels of me drinking a fifth of vodka and trying to drive. All I said was that I was going to pick up alcohol and then drink it at home. As you can see, the date, July 13, 8:18 p.m. I had sent her a picture of the alcohol I picked up, and I was in an Uber, not driving. As you can see here, 13th of July, 2022. The time was 8:07 p.m. The same time I was in the Uber. The ironic thing is, I was in Vegas, she was in LA at the time, so there was no manipulation of her needing to come save me.
Okay, so he was in an Uber and he purchased a bunch of alcohol to go then drink at home. So Brooke was mistaken about the driving part. However, Brooke also said that he said he was going to drink it all and then apparently drive, which is not the case, but then maybe do some other bad things. He doesn't bring up any of that. All he brings up is the fact that he never drove while drunk and had no intention to. Okay? But if you bought all the alcohol to then drink at home by yourself, it definitely sounds like it wasn't a good situation still. He conveniently doesn't answer, the other parts of it. He only hangs on to the one part that maybe Brooke got wrong.
Who did I date? Not marry. Lie number 23.
And I ask him, also, why did you fake the death of your family? And of course, he denies it. And I then tell him, I've been talking to your mother. I had not been talking to his mother, but that got him. He finally admitted that he did, in fact, fake the death of his mom.
Wait, and so that was the reason you broke up. Did you have a conversation with him? What was his sort of reasoning for killing his family?
Oh, he still won't admit it.
Oh.
No, he will not say he did.
The first video was dated June 26th of this year. The second video was dated May 8th of this year. Both videos are 2 months apart. So on May 2024, you said that I never admitted it. And then on June 2024, you said that I did, even though we haven't spoken in a very long time. For the record, I never admitted anything to her.
She's saying you admitted it. He's saying, no, I didn't. I did not do that. Who do you believe? Clinton or Brooke? Make your choice. That's pretty much all you can conclude from that video.
Who did I date? Not marry. Line number 24.
In fact, I'm pretty sure she works in retail. Like, his mom, I don't even think speaks English. So I'm like, his mom doesn't even speak English. I don't know what she speaks. His mom doesn't even speak English. I don't know what she speaks.
She doesn't even speak English. Doesn't even. First of all, she does speak English. Second of all, this is a very triggering statement and is very offensive to a lot of people.
No, I'm sorry, you guys. I got to the bread and butter. Check this one out.
I haven't spoken in a very long time. For the record, I never admitted anything to her.
For the record, I never admitted anything to her. Okay, very next video.
Who did I date, not marry, line number 24. She doesn't even speak English. Doesn't even. First of all, she does speak English. Second of all, this is a very triggering statement and is very offensive to a lot of people. Who did I date?
Nobody is shaming your mother for not speaking English. I wasn't sure if she spoke English because on her Facebook, which she writes on actively, she doesn't speak in English. And I know that you know a language that you never told me about in the six months that we dated. But hello, what's funny about this is he goes, she does actually speak English, as in does, as in she is alive.
It sounds like Brooke never actually had a conversation with your mother. So how would she know if she spoke English or not? Again, I haven't heard a yes, I was lying about my mother's death and she is in fact alive. That has not happened yet.
Who did I date, not marry, accountability.
It only took 20-some parts till we finally got to the accountability portion. Let's see what he actually takes accountability for.
Okay, so this video is now going to be about me taking accountability for everything I did wrong in the relationship. First of all, I did cheat. It was a weak asshole move to do, and I am sorry for it. I've apologized to Brooke privately countless times, profusely, months after we broke up. And what tends to happen is, as soon as I want out of a relationship, for reasons like, it's unhealthy or it's like a sudden realization that it won't work, I never know how to come to terms with that emotion, and I go the pussy way and give them a reason to break up with me instead of, just manning up and doing it myself. I was a kid about it, and for most of my life, I didn't know, all my life actually, I didn't know or have a proper model of what a healthy relationship looked like. And all I can do and have done is learn and be better. And me saying this is not trying to justify me cheating in any way or ask for pity about it. This is me just owning my shit.
Okay, so we're starting out strong with the cheating, which I am glad that he is owning up to that. However, that would be a little bit hard to dispute when so many other girls have come forward to say, hey, yeah, no, he was cheating and here are the receipts, so I don't really know how he could possibly lie his way out of that one. I guess I don't really understand the mind of a cheater because I have never cheated in a relationship, but that is very wild to me that he is saying he cheated so she would break up with him. The only reason he cheated was to end their relationship, not because he was interested in other girls, I guess.
Next, I also did love bomb quite a bit. If I really think about it and think back to all of my relationships, I've love bombed every single fucking relationship. I didn't know what love bombing was. I didn't know that was a real thing. I didn't know that was even a fucking term until I broke up with her. So I am also sorry about that.
Now he's claiming he did love bomb, but he never knew what that was, though he did it apparently in every single romantic relationship he's ever been in. I'm not even positive how to properly talk about this, because how are you not aware if you're love bombing? Wouldn't the love bomber be aware that they are being a bit over the top or, love bombing the other person to reel them in? Or is that just what he thought is how you start a relationship and keep them interested or something like that? I'm just not really understanding how he didn't know what he was doing.
I also did lie about my age, and it was just out of embarrassment. she was older and she had said something about not dating anyone way younger. And I lied and I said I was 2 or 3 years older than I was.
He lied about his age out of embarrassment. Huh? I'm sorry. I understand if you have a crush on someone or are attracted to someone where they have a certain age limit on who they are comfortable with being with, and you are not within those parameters. And so, yeah, sure, maybe there's a moment of, oh, that sucks, I can't try to be with them. But a rational person would be like, okay, and move on. They wouldn't lie and manipulate the other person to make them think the other person is still dating within their own comfort zone, when in reality they're not, they've just been lied to. It just shows that he has a lack of respect for her boundaries in terms of the age limit, which I know this relationship was short, but if he ever imagined a long-term relationship, how did he plan on getting past this part? Because what if this relationship had gotten to a point where they were considering marriage? Was he just going to continue to lie and say he's a couple years older and just hope Brooke never found out? Would he have ever owned up to it? Or would he have just tried to sweep it under the rug? Like, what would he have done? Like, I don't understand the long-term plan here. Were you just gonna lie to her forever?
And lastly, the most important bit, I was a baby man-child. In my past relationships, I've always been an insecure person, and I'm not going to dive into that emotion because I already do in therapy. And for the most part, I was insecure about meaningless and useless things, and thinking back about it, I cringe. And I wish I never brought those things up. But I've always felt like I approached those insecurities to her in a very calm, respectful, and peaceful way, no matter how dumb the reasoning was of what I was insecure about. I'm human like everybody else, and I've made a lot of mistakes in my life and in that relationship, the 3-month relationship that I had. And I have growing to do. But this video is just me owning 50% of the relationship. I have shown every single receipt to show the lies that were made up. And I've admitted my wrongdoings, and that concludes my 50% of the relationship. So now I just hope to end my attachment to this relationship, and I just want to move forward.
I never actually thought he would admit to being a baby man-child. It almost seems like he is using the fact that he is an insecure person to then justify why he had problems with a lot of things, which I understand that is an emotion that a lot of people battle with. But if what the scenarios that Brooke talked about happened, which from all of this, it definitely seems like they did, absolutely wild to just blame it on insecurity. And I guess, yeah, the only thing he could do was own up to being a man-child, because that's exactly what it was. He's still very much harping on the fact that it is a 3-month relationship, though, not a 6-month, which ultimately, even if it was, all of this other stuff that he essentially corroborated as did in fact happen doesn't make anything any better, whether it was a 3-month relationship, a 6-month relationship, or a year-long relationship. It's still bad. It's all bad.
Okay, this is the first one he posted, though. I'm like, wow, now we're getting somewhere. So he admits he did lie about his age. He love bombed, and apparently he was very insecure and, per his own words, acted like a baby man-child. Did not say anything about his mother or brother, but when talking about the English thing, he did say she does speak English. Not did. Does, which to me implies she's still alive, but whatever, he's not taking accountability for lying about that. He also did not bring up the fact about the Australian accent whatsoever, did not even come up.
Alright guys, in this video we're going to talk about why my accent is the way that it is.
Turns out, I spoke too soon.
And where I'm from. I was born in the Philippines in 1999. I'm missing 3 more passports that I cannot find. Before the age of 1, I moved to Australia, where I had family. While I was there, according to Google, I had learned an average of 1,500 words with the regional dialect of Perth. Then I moved to the UK, where I learned more words with the regional dialect of Manchester. And then I was in Brunei, where English is not the primary language, and they had a specific English regional dialect. And then I was in Singapore, and then I was in Cyprus. There were several back and forths in the countries listed above in no specific order. And then when I turned 18, I ended up in Greece on my own. Then I turned 19 and I came to the United States of America. And in between the ages of 19 and 24, I lived in between Amsterdam, Sri Lanka, Indonesia, and the United States of America. And just for you, the viewer, when I say I lived somewhere, it is anything longer than 6 months.
Most of what he's saying here just feels like it's filler, because he's essentially saying he country hopped his whole life. Okay, but nobody's accusing you of having a fake Greek accent, or any of the other countries he named, and is apparently learning 1,500 words, enough to pick up the accent? I think he's just saying a whole lot of nothing.
Now, having all this info, which has already been specified in the last 6 to 7 years in every single publication and interview, I did not hide any of this. You can see how my accent is amalgamation of all of these places. My accent isn't a typical Australian accent, and I've never once in my life claimed that it was. At 19 years old, when I moved to America for music, my record label and team needed one place to say where I was from, and since I did not live in the Philippines as a child, I chose Australia because honestly it was just a beautiful memory, and that's where I spent my formative years. I adopted just saying I was from Australia because I didn't want to list all 10 places that I've lived in and tell my life story every time I would make small talk with a stranger. That's about it. So if for some strange reason you have a problem with my childhood, I recommend that you please take it up with your therapist. Have a lovely day.
If we have a problem with his childhood, we should take it up with our therapist. Okay, you're being a little catty there, because nobody really seems to be having an issue with your childhood. It's all about the accent. So now you're accusing us as the viewers that we aren't okay with your childhood? How does that make any sense? Why are you being catty to us? Aren't you supposed to convince us that you're in the right?
What doesn't make sense is him seemingly having a more Australian accent in certain interviews and stuff, and then the video that Brooke showed of him yelling, he sounds totally American. But I do understand if his accent doesn't quite sound Australian because it's an amalgamation of everything else. Like, that concept makes sense to me. The part that's confusing me is in private with Brooke, no accent. In public with other people, accent. That's the part where he's losing me. I don't really understand that part.
I wrote something down on my notes because I'm not very good with speaking about my feelings in the moment. I mean, that's the whole reason why I kind of got into this mess in the first place. That's the reason why I'm a musician, because I don't, know how to talk about my feelings in a concise and specific last-minute type of way. So I'll read you what I wrote about this whole thing.
Fair warning, this is his longest TikTok that he made in this series. I think it sits at a little over 10 minutes.
This video is kind of difficult for me for a couple of reasons. One is because I have to relive childhood trauma in detail. And the second is because I'm not here of my choosing. I don't feel that someone should be pressured to talk even if they're in the public eye. But because an ex-girlfriend that I dated for 3 months a couple of years ago decided to start beating a drum after we broke up, that drum has become so loud that I feel that I have to answer it now.
I understand if these are difficult topics for him to discuss, but immediately following that up with him belittling Brooke almost makes whatever he's about to say disingenuous just out the get-go. Because he's directly saying, well, since Brooke won't shut up about this, I guess I have to say something. There was obviously pressure for him to speak up about all of this, but ultimately, he did not have to do this. And in fact, his PR team should have told him not to do this.
I don't know if any of you can imagine what it feels like to be a private person, which I am, and have to answer questions about every single family member, every single friend, every single dislike that you've ever experienced, but it's really unpleasant. And the reason why it's unpleasant is because somebody is sitting around telling you everything that you remember is a lie. I want you guys to really sit and think about how horrible it would be for anyone to do that.
I can tell that this video is going to be his most heartfelt one, but automatically trying to belittle Brooke in a way almost belittles his own story, because it's like he's starting out on the wrong foot about it. But he's just trying to pull at our emotions to make us feel bad for him. If he proves that Brooke lied about everything, then do that. Stop trying to pull at our heartstrings and give us the facts.
But I will do my best and give a description of my childhood. First and foremost, I'm not doing this for approval. I'm really just doing this so someone can finally tell the truth, and that someone would be me, because it's my life and no one else's. At the beginning of the pandemic in 2020, I received a DM from a random stranger telling me that my father had died of lung cancer. I hadn't spoken to him for quite a while because he was a fucking asshole. Saying that, he was still my dad. And as anyone with a dysfunctional family knows, even when you don't understand family, you so desperately want to make sense of it. And it just so happens, though, that I couldn't make sense of it and did what I always do and pretended that it didn't exist. A few months later, I received a phone call from my best friend, the daughter of a really amazing woman I met when I was traveling Europe. She had an accident and we all thought everything was going to be okay. My best friend was around my age and thought that I should know because, I mean, we were just family at that point. I really didn't think anything of it, to be honest. And then a short time later, I got a phone call that she had passed away.
So his dad is confirmed deceased, and the other woman he is talking about must be this mother figure he has referenced. You would think when actually talking about this person, whether it be in an interview or whatever, if somebody said, "Oh, hey, I'm so sorry that your mom passed," would you not immediately correct them to be like, "No, my mom is good. The person who did pass was very dear to me, and she was like a mother to me, but my mother is still alive," or something? You would think there'd be some clarifying here.
Once again, I went into denial. I really just didn't do well with loss. I moved so much as a kid that I would disregard any kind of sadness over loss because it was pretty much the norm. Since so many people have told me she didn't exist, I'd like to take a moment and tell you a bit about her because she was fucking awesome. You know, when you feel like you're kind of just floating in life and nobody gives a shit about you, and then someone randomly comes up to you and says that you matter, and you kind of just go limp because you really needed to hear it in that specific moment. This woman showed up. This woman was so loving and so caring towards me, and kind of funny because we sort of just hit it off one day at a park randomly, and from that we built a relationship. And as I said earlier, she had 2 children around my age, and I think that's why she kind of knew where I was at mentally, just looking at me and not even knowing me. And for the year that I knew her, she changed the way I thought about family. And it was just one of those magical moments, those spiritual moments that I didn't believe back then. Now I do. When you meet someone and you feel like you've known them your whole life.
I truly do hope he is not lying about this mother figure, because from his words, she sounds like she was a wonderful woman and a wonderful influence on him. And I want these memories that he's talking about to be real for his sake. Regardless of the things that Clinton has admitted to in previous videos of being a bit toxic in this relationship, if he's telling the truth about this woman, I have no desire to say anything bad about her or her family or anything like that. I hope she lived a very long, fulfilling life. And I want to make that very clear. I don't want to speak ill of the dead. I just hope he is actually telling the truth about this.
I never spoke about her because I honestly didn't think I had to. I'm sure all of you guys have people you meet and don't feel the need to announce it. But it's actually kind of nice to be open about it and tell you about her. It's profound when people have affected you and inspired you in a really good way, and you kind of just hold them close, and that was this one. I always kind of felt shame about it, though. My mom was a pastor, and our household was extremely religious and godly, and I just felt really weird saying to anyone that I cared for this person as much as my mom, or that I viewed her in the same exact light. And I never said it to anyone because it really was no one's business.
He's losing me again. So first he's saying he felt weird about expressing to other people that he saw this other woman as a motherly figure. And then he also says, well, it's also nobody's business, which these things kind of contradict what his feelings are. If you truly cared for this woman as much as he has been expressing in this video so far, but you're ashamed to tell anybody else that you care for her in a motherly way, why would you be ashamed of that?
And, you know, on top of that, there was a belief in my heart that no one would get it or understand. And when people would ask, like, why are you so upset, or who passed away, I just started telling them that it was my mom. Because my mom was absent for most of my life, and in some crazy way, it just sort of fit, and that she was the one that passed away.
So let me get this straight. He was, from the sounds of it, ashamed to tell his family, or anyone really, that he had found a motherly figure that was a positive influence on his life. But after she passed, he told everyone that it was actually his mom had passed. Wouldn't your biological family and mother, once they heard you were saying she had died, they would have a bigger issue with that? Because if apparently they would have an issue that you had found another motherly figure, I feel like they would have a very big issue if you were saying that your biological mother had actually died when she hadn't. Would they not?
This is awful, I know. So I had shame about this motherly figure, and then I had shame about my mom. It's fucking horrible when I look back on it. And let me say, if you have judgment on me and tell me that that was crazy, I would agree. But again, you know, it's just the way I handled loss by not handling it. I don't know what else to say about it. It wasn't pathological lying like some people have said. I was a punk kid who gave a dumb answer on a podcast when he was working with anxiety disorder and had no business being on it until he was good with all the feelings that he was having. I guess management fucked up that day, but, you know, I'll take responsibility, and I fucked up.
So are you blaming your management, or are you taking responsibility? Why did you even for a split second put any blame on your management team? You were the one that said your mother. I just don't think that was appropriate to even have a second of trying to blame his management.
This brings me to another part of this video that I would really, really like to stress. I got into making music because it was a way for me to try to understand myself. For the last couple of years, I've struggled to make any music because I felt that it would be judged and then torn apart. And this overwhelmed me. I am so confused at this world that we live in, where someone can just take someone's life without facts or proof and tell the world some made up stuff, which is damaging and hurtful.
Made up stuff? Clinton, you yourself corroborated a lot of Brooke's stories. The only things that she seemed to get wrong were things that she hyperbolized. Everything else, you essentially corroborated.
Yes, it's true. I started this shit from the podcast that I was on, but it all came out whack because I just didn't have the skills to process any emotions. I didn't. I spent money like it was war. I dated girls and cheated on them. I loved people only to let them go and have them question if I really did. I did a lot of things that I don't do anymore, and for that I'm grateful. I've said all that I will say in regards to my family and my childhood.
That's the last he's going to speak about his family. Didn't Brooke also accuse him of saying his brother was dead when he actually wasn't? I don't think Clinton ever talked about that at any point. So that seems a little odd to me that he's going to try to sweep that one under the rug.
For the first 22 years of my life, I disconnected from my family and sort of lost my way because of their dysfunction. This drama with my ex-girlfriend has forced me to see that if I didn't change, I would end up just like them and just like her if I didn't make a change. So as you can see, I've never once said a bad word about my ex-girlfriend. I have since apologized to my family for my behavior and have tried to mourn my dad and a mom to me. I'm trying to love myself, and I'm slowly getting there. And for those who want to perpetuate the lies and try to manipulate by saying damaging statements without proof, I hope you find more important things in this world to be concerned about rather than my life and me. But I look forward to sharing my emotions in my songs with my supporters that can appreciate where I'm at and have empathy towards it. It honestly feels good to have closure on the subject for me. So, sending love to all.
And that is the end of his long video here. He seems to try to close it off on a good note, that he is actively working on changing and will not go back to his old ways, which I definitely hope so. I don't know if he is currently in a relationship, but if he is, or any future relationships, I do not want any other woman to experience anything like the past ones did at all. So I hope he does change, I hope he does get better, and I hope he saw the error in his ways. And you would think this would be the last video that closes out his TikTok series, but that would actually be incorrect because there are 2 left. There are 2 more.
Just a reminder, I'm a musician, and I personally have a hard time with talking about my feelings in the moment. So I've written something down as far as my mental health goes in the past 2 years.
I don't really understand why he keeps making it clear that he is a musician, because nobody was expecting him to hop on here and be this renowned poet. People just wanted to know the truth.
This is going to be a video about what my mental health has been over the last couple of years. I'm not really sure how or where to start with this. I think there's one word that comes to mind, and that is paralyzing. You never know what's going to happen to you in your life, and I would have never thought 2 years ago I would have dated a girl for 3 months and my life would have gone from being on top of the world to laying in bed every day, but it did.
He cannot let go of the fact it happened 2 years ago, and according to him, only 3 months. I'm not entirely sure how to feel about his insistence.
I don't really want to go into details of the relationship in this video. I really just want to stick with the whole mental health aspect. I was diagnosed as a kid with major anxiety disorder and panic disorder, and my first ever video where I wrote my first ever song, which I got signed from, was even about a panic attack. I don't think a lot of people remember that, and I think this aspect of mental health is kind of brushed under the rug. While I've been going through this, you can notice by my postings on social media, Instagram, TikTok, everything, that there were long gaps where nothing was posted. The reason that occurred wasn't because I wanted to go away. It was because I was unable to function during the day and night. There were so many podcasts and so many negative comments coming from every direction that anyone who did not have access to therapy 4 to 5 days a week would have probably done away with themselves. The severity of how low I was is really actually hard for me to describe. Have any of you been in a place where the furthest that you're able to walk is from the couch to the bed and back? If you answered yes to this, then you understand. It was hard for me to think, breathe, eat, or even speak at times. People had given up on reaching out to me because I was just never available. I don't mean unavailable as in I'm talking on the other line. I was quite literally mentally unavailable. I debated ending a lot of things, but I never debated ending music. Those words probably piss some people off, and I hope they do. I will never stop music.
I don't want to brush Clinton's mental health struggles under the rug or anything like that. Him confessing the hardships that he has gone through does take strength, and I hope that he is doing much better and does not get to that dark of a place again. And I just want to make it very clear, I support him on his mental health journey in terms of I hope he gets better and stays better. You know what I mean? So I don't want to get too critical into his mental health journey. But was there something I missed? Because he's very adamant saying he will not stop music, which is fine. Besides nasty comments, who was telling you to quit music? You can keep doing that.
I was so lucky I had a therapist, a friend, and my religion, which prevented me from giving up and honestly laughing myself. The attempts to strip my memories from me and accuse me of a fabricated childhood is not only abuse, but just demented.
A fabricated childhood. I'm a little bit lost again. Yes, perhaps some of what Brooke was saying was not true about his childhood, that she got the facts wrong, that this was not how it was. She didn't know what she was talking about in terms of that, sure. But was she trying to rewrite his childhood? No. This all started from what he told her, and mainly about the whole mom not being dead thing. So how is she rewriting his childhood? Genuinely a little confused.
I understand not caring for someone or even the idea of dreaming about their demise. But the idea that someone would attempt to destroy another person for any reason is beyond my comprehension.
Destroy another person. So he is definitely implying that Brooke did this maliciously, which this definitely came about out of retaliation from his original video. But if Brooke is merely recounting their relationship and what happened between them and what she went through, if this is truthful, then she has a right to speak upon what she experienced. Now, I understand if she wasn't truthful, then yeah, what she did would be horrendous. But we just went through all of the videos where you basically corroborated everything she said. So her recounting her own history does not automatically mean she was preying on your downfall. If that was a result of what she had to say, then maybe you were the problem.
Through intensive therapy over the last 2 years, but even regular therapy for the years before that, I've learned that you really just have to believe in yourself and ask for forgiveness when necessary. Suffering is built into this life, and every time I get depressed, worried, anxious, frustrated, angry, or overwhelmed, I remember what I have made it through. I don't wish ill will upon anyone, but I do hope that people remember that you never know the shoes someone has walked in. This goes for relationships several years long, but especially 3 months.
He cannot let that 3 months part go. It does not matter if it was a 1 month relationship, a 1 year relationship, or a 10-year relationship. If there was toxicity going on, it does not matter the duration. It should not have taken place to begin with.
Once someone poisons your thoughts and your memories, they win by removing any joy you may have had growing up. But I'm happy to report that I still have joy. So, moving forward, I will dedicate time and my money towards mental health, but especially cyberbullying. If you are out there suffering, please reach out for help. You matter. And to all those people who stand beside me, thank you for your patience while I have grown.
Is he equating to boiling down everything Brooke said to cyberbullying? But if she's speaking the truth, how is that bullying of any sorts? However, I'll give him credit. It is nice of him to end on a positive note. Absolutely reach out if you are going through it, if you're being cyberbullied, all of those things. Ending on a nicer message is a good thing. But still, he hasn't said anything to convince me.
Not Mary, lie number 22.
Following me up, like literally sending me novels about how he drank an entire fifth of vodka, he's gonna drive.
Going to pick up alcohol and then drink it at home. As you can see here, 13th of July, 2022. The time was 8:07. This was brought to my attention by a fan. There's no gotcha moment here. This was the Uber ride that I showed you in this video. Here's an additional video to confirm this same receipt. July 13, 2022. Same driver, same destination, and same time. I didn't realize that the email receipt didn't show the stop, where I stopped at a Target to pick up alcohol. So I'm going to show you a video of that same trip with the stop directly on my Uber app. Here is a video of me in my Uber app showing you the same day, the same trip, 13th of July. Same driver, showing you the year, 13th July 2022. You can now see here the stop that I made at Target to pick up the alcohol at 8:11. You also see the same location to and from and the same exact time to and from shown in the same email receipt here. Again, I stopped at Target to pick up alcohol at 8:11. I took this picture at 8:18 p.m. and I got back home at 8:20 p.m. None of the receipts I've shown have been altered, and I'm happy to prove every single receipt just like I did in this video. And also, please respect the privacy of this address in this apartment complex. I have not lived there for over 2 years.
And this was the last video Clinton made in this whole series. I guess this last one further clarifying that the receipt was legit. Okay, I still don't think it helps your case any, but sure. So now that we have covered all of Clinton, which wow did that take forever, oh my god, we can now move on to Brooke's reaction. Pretty much throughout Clinton's responses, I already embedded Brooke's responses when they pertain to that specific video, so you have already seen the vast majority of them. There are only a couple left that just didn't make sense to just throw in the middle of his videos, so let me play them for you now.
No, I'm sorry. Can Clinton Kane be so fucking for real? I'm only on part, 6, I think. But, oh my god, this is the funniest thing I've ever seen. You know that meme where it's like, I heard you picked her up, hooked up with her, and then got her a Sprite. And the guy's like, first of all, no one even fucking got a Sprite. That's what this is. He's like, she said she found out I lied about my age on June 6th. But then here, she says she found out on June 16th. So what is it? How about you lied about your age, you fucking weirdo? Okay? And in the letter, I say, I want you to deal with all the issues that you are not dealing with. To be able to continually hurt the people who love you the most without feeling any sort of remorse. Something is seriously wrong with you. I cannot understand it. Okay? Your whole life can blow up in your face at any minute if you don't deal with the actual real issues, and that's all I want for you. I explain, he has people around him. There are a lot of people who care about him, who will help him out of this situation, which I knew was true because he had admitted it to me, okay? And you want to talk about receipts, Clinton? I have the receipts. I have every fucking receipt of you telling me that mom is alive. She's alive. You told me. You know you fucking told me. And you know I can show people you told me.
Lie number 1, lie number 2, lie number 3, lie number 4, lie number 5, lie number 6, lie number 7, lie number 8, lie number 9, lie number 10, lie number 11, lie.
When I tell you guys, you would die if you saw my text with Madeline Archie over the past few days. Madeline, get on a flight right now. I want you right there.
Oh my god, you guys, Clinton Kane just died. He's dead. After everything, can you even believe it ended that way? Kidding, but my new bit is just pretending he died. If he can say his mom died, why can't I say he died? Clinton Kane is dead.
And that is the end of the Brooke Schofield and Clinton Kane saga. And yet, even though the Clinton chapter is closed, there's still more to say about Brooke. I guess perks of taking so long to edit this video, because legit, I feel like I've been editing it for like 2 months because I did not realize how big of an endeavor this was. But hey, perks of being so slow is that the story just continues to unfold. And not long after all of this, Brooke got canceled. Now, what did she get canceled for, you might ask? Well, Brooke has always been active on Twitter, right? Well, I don't know who, but somebody dug into the depths of her Twitter account, where they found old racist tweets that got resurfaced. And now I will be showing you these racist tweets. I will not be reading them because, quite frankly, I don't want my voice recorded saying these things. I just don't want that. So I will put them on a screen so you may read them yourself, and then we will be going through Brooke's response to this whole mess. We're on the last chapter of this saga.
All right, you guys, I have had a lot to say about accountability lately and how important it is and how far it can go, and I feel like I'm not taking my own advice. Obviously, by now you guys have seen the tweets that are circulating around. They unfortunately are not fake. Those are real tweets, like real things that I said. First of all, I want to acknowledge that I feel the same way about them that you do. I think they're so disturbing, they're wrong, they're horrible, and they're disgusting. Of course, I do appreciate the people who are coming to bat for me and like saying like, you know, it was so long ago and like she's grown and stuff, but like it doesn't, honestly, it doesn't fucking matter. Like it literally does not matter. They are horrible. I want to talk about particularly the Trayvon Martin, George Zimmerman situation. Try not to be so emotional because I don't want it to seem like it's like a sympathy thing at all. I also don't want to blame anybody else at all, and so I'm trying like to be really careful about that. I just want to explain like and give some context into like my mindset at the time, because I have seen like some comments today that are like, well, no shit, she's racist, like white nepo baby, like a little like spoiled brat, like, and that was not my situation. And my parents were addicts, so I was adopted by my grandparents when I was like 10, and I grew up with them from that point on. And as is true for a lot of grandparents, they're a little bit less progressive than a lot of us are now. And my grandma has dementia, so it was really just like me and my grandpa, and he is a very, very right-wing conservative man, okay? It was like my household was literally just Fox News all the time, Rush Limbaugh, like if you guys know who that is, like playing literally all day long through the house, and that was just like the only thing ever that I had been exposed to. A lot of you guys have also seen my mom's Twitter because she was responding back and forth about the Trayvon Martin situation, and I just should have known better. I know her, and I should have known that she is not somebody that I take any sort of political insight from at all. Again, sometimes you like have these people that you like put on a pedestal and you think everybody older than you is smarter than you and knows everything, and they do not. Truthfully, it took me a really long time. Like, I know some of the tweets I was like 18 and people are like, yeah, like she was old enough to know better. And like, honest to God, you guys, it wasn't until like even after college that I really started to like shift my way of thinking. And there are people in my life who I might have looked up to forever who I do not agree with. And I think it's amazing now that people are like learning earlier on about politics and like forming their own opinions outside of like what their parents think or what they're hearing or whatever it is. But that just wasn't the case for me. Whatever I heard, I passed on. I'm sorry, very, very sorry to anybody who is hurt by the tweets, because obviously they are very hurtful. Like a lot of it is just like what, like why would I even say that? And I apologize for not having said something sooner. I just felt like I was getting these messages from people who like were hurt by them, and I felt like by bringing more attention to it, I was just going to be hurting more people, and that was not the right mindset. I should have said something sooner, and I would never let something go this far again. Like, I love you all so much, and obviously I know that there are some people who are just like not going to care for me anymore, and like I understand that.
I need you to know that, like, is not how I think. That is not what I believe. And I am 27 years old now. I've had so much time to, like, learn and grow and, like, formulate my own opinions. And they are nothing like they were when I was 17, 18 years old.
This was posted not long after everything surfaced, and most people collectively agreed that this was just not a good apology. She was emotional in it. She also says she doesn't want to blame anybody and she wants to be very careful about that, and then immediately talks about her childhood and essentially blaming her grandparents. It's the same thing as, I don't want to make any excuses, but it's like, nope, stop right there. There should be no but if you're not making any excuses. This is essentially the same thing, and this initial apology was not well received. And then after this, Brooke was silent for a while, where she was saying she needed more time to collect herself to properly address it. So this next video is her quote-unquote proper apology.
You guys, I want to talk about my last video, okay? Because I am listening to everybody, and obviously I am reflecting and looking back on it, and I do agree with everyone that I missed the mark. I obviously saw everything that was going on, and I saw how hurt everybody was by it, so I felt like I just had to put something out as soon as I physically could so that nobody thought I was ignoring the situation or didn't realize how like important it was. But as a result of that, I put out this like very emotional, scrambled video where I essentially made none of the points that I should have been making. First and obviously most important thing is that I'm so sorry, specifically to Black people and the other people of color who were offended by my tweets, okay? Because obviously I'm seeing a lot of like positivity in the comments and people saying that they forgive me, and it's all white people. And that's how I know I did not address this properly at all. So I want to be clear that this is directed specifically to Black people and other people of color, and I am not seeking white people's understanding or forgiveness or approval or whatever it is. Now, sorry is not enough, in my opinion, for the way that I was tweeting and the things that I was saying online at that time. And I know that there's no apology beyond like reparations that can mend that wound. I don't care if I was a teenager, I was old enough to know better, and not only did I choose to say those things, I chose to say those things on a public platform, and I am very, very ashamed of it. Especially sorry to those who were affected in real time, because keep in mind, I had friends and family who were following me at that time and would have been hurt by those tweets, and I feel sick over that. The tweets were racist, okay? There's no getting around that. They cannot be dismissed as jokes or political opinions or anything else. It was racism. In my last video, I put all this emphasis on my family thinking it was gonna like provide context, but instead it just made it look like I was pointing fingers and like placing blame, and that was exactly the opposite of what I should have been doing. The fact of the matter is nobody forced me to tweet those things. I tweeted those things on my own, and the blame is on me. A conscious choice to not learn about politics until I was a young adult. But that did not stop me from tweeting political opinions. I wanted to appear that I knew more than I did and that I was educated, and instead I was spreading harmful, very, very harmful misinformation. I had all the educational resources available to me to learn what was right, and I chose not to. However, the murder of Trayvon Martin has nothing to do with politics, okay? The murder of Trayvon Martin was a hate crime. It was horrible, and he did not deserve it, and no Black person deserves it. When it happened, I repeated disgusting misinformation on a public platform, and I'm genuinely so disturbed by that. I truly cannot believe it. It makes me sick, like truly sick to think about it now. Now, I mentioned in my last video how I didn't really open my eyes until after college, but I want to make it clear that when I say that, I'm referring to hate crimes in particular. It wasn't until after college that I realized how prevalent police brutality is and how common hate crimes are. It's constantly happening. I think a lot of people felt this way, but the murder of George Floyd shifted my mindset completely, okay? Because that's when I started to really research and learn what it was like and what it looked like to be anti-racist. I started to seek out my own resources and learn what reparations looked like and learn what I could do as a white person in situations like these. And I'm really, truly ashamed that it took me that long. I talked in my last video about how I grew up in a Republican household. And I didn't say that because I think all Republicans are racist, but I just wanted you to know that those are the only conversations that I had been exposed to. But then I went off to college, okay? And I went to college in Arizona, which is still a red state, but Arizona is also a state with a lot of diversity. And I was a public health major, where so many elements have to do with race and racial inequality. I learned so much during that time, you guys. It was actually really eye-opening for me because I had had a lot of thoughts my entire life that completely shifted once I started to learn like things from other people's perspectives. So much of what I previously had believed to be true changed, and I started paying attention to things that I hadn't before. Again, I acknowledge that I was an adult at this time, and I had all the resources in the world available to me to educate myself prior to college, and I chose not to, and for that I am sorry. Really, really wish that I had. I wrote my college thesis on racial disparities, so how things like socioeconomic standing, health, housing, income, and so many other things can be affected by your race. I didn't stop learning there, and I don't plan to stop learning about these issues ever. I truly mean that, and I know a lot of you aren't going to believe me, and I understand that, but I do care about these issues. But I don't want this conversation to be over, honestly. I'm not posting this video to make everything go away. I don't want to try to get myself uncanceled, but I know there are a lot of people like me who are still working to unlearn the inherent racism that we possess still. While I know that I've changed, I also know that there is a lot of work to be done, okay? There is a lot that I could still do that I have not done yet. I promise you that I will. I have been and will continue to look into reparation initiatives to share with you guys, as well as figure out ways that we can give Black creators more visibility, because we know that's a major problem in this space. I want to do everything that I can to show you that I am not the person that I was in 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015. I am not. I understand that there are people who are never going to forgive me, and I do not fault you for that at all. At all. But I truly am so sorry. I am sorry for the words that I said. I am sorry for my racist past. I am sorry for the people that I hurt. And I want to do everything I can to earn back your trust, because it really is very important to me.
I know that was a long video, but I really didn't want to interject myself in the middle of this since this is such a serious topic, so I let it play all the way through. Some of those tweets were just horrendous. They were horrendous. I have no idea why she would ever think to tweet that, why she ever thought it was okay. It truly boggles my mind, and therefore I would not blame anybody for not accepting her apology. Ultimately, I'm happy to have shared her apology so you all can see it and come to your own conclusions, but this apology is not meant for me because I am a white person. So this apology is not meant for me, and it never will be.
Okay, before this gets any further, I have publicly stated my support for Kamala since she's been in the running, okay? And I still stand behind that. I know how stupid it looks that I liked that post today, and I literally want to kick myself in the fucking face for it, but it was like mindless. I literally was on an airplane scrolling. I saw the last person in the entire world that I would think would be in the room with Trump. So I was like, this is crazy. And I liked the post. Worst timing ever. So fucking stupid. Not a Trump supporter. Okay? Period. I am not a Trump supporter.
This next one is in reference to a post. It was a picture that had Trump in it, and she liked the picture. In the midst of all of this, why the hell she would like that picture, I have no idea. And clearly from the sounds of it, she has no idea why she did it either. I don't know.
Like I said, I think reparations are more important than apologies. So I have already donated to the Trayvon Martin Foundation. Literally the first thing I did. And I'm doing my research. I'm looking into other communities and foundations that I can help with, and I will continue to do that. Like I said, in any way that I can help, I will help.
After this, she took a break and was kind of radio silent on all of her platforms. And then eventually she just started posting again, like it was business per usual.
I just want to make sure you guys know that I am not trying to pretend like nothing happened or like nothing is wrong. We've seen this happen a million times with influencers and celebrities or whatever it is. And the typical like formula in a situation like this would be to go online, do your apology, wait it out, and then hope everybody forgets about it and a lot of people just end up never talking about it ever again. And honestly, it works for a lot of people, but I just don't want to do that. I really meant what I said in my videos, and I know my delivery wasn't the best, but I do understand the gravity of the situation, and I understand the weight of my words and how much people were hurt by what I said. While I know how much has changed from then to now, I can't expect everybody else to. And I also know there's a lot of ways that I can still get better. You know, there really is no definitive end. You know what I mean? There's always going to be more for me to learn, and I am reading every single one of your guys' comments. I am listening to everybody, and I really do appreciate everybody who's holding me accountable. And I love you all so much, and I understand that there's people who are never going to forgive me, and you are completely valid and fully within your right, but it doesn't mean I'm going to stop trying. I am not trying to just brush this under the rug. This is not like something I'm going to try to make go away or deny at all. I know what's happening. I know what I did was wrong, and I'm going to do better moving forward. I love you.
And that is all Brooke has posted on her platforms regarding this situation. Now, as for the canceled podcast, Tana had this to say.
Welcome back to the canceled podcast. Obviously, as you guys can see, I am alone on this couch. Brooke is not here with us today, and I want to be abundantly clear that that was my decision. We all saw the tweets, and they're fucked up and they're horrific. And I'm saying that as a white person, right? Like, I cannot even imagine being a black non-fan or fan and reading those tweets. And I've made it very clear to Brooke as well that I condemn her for these tweets, and they're fucking horrible. And I have no right to forgive her as a white person for the things that she said.
Obviously, Brooke was not on this episode, and Tana goes on for a long time talking more about this and also about her own racist past, which that is a different topic. We're not getting into that. But after this came out, people were quick to point out the irony that Tana kicked Brooke off a podcast called The Canceled Podcast, especially for something that Tana is also accused of. And many were further calling Tana out of being a bad friend, jumping ship, things like that.
In the previous episode that I made what I was saying abundantly clear, and not to go like all third person narcissist on you. When has Tana Mojo ever said anything and made it abundantly clear and it didn't get misconstrued and people completely understood her point and yada yada?
Like, I fear I make some bad points sometimes too.
Hey. But all I was trying to say in that episode was I'm giving Brooke the week. Like, I want Brooke to have the week. Obviously. Yeah. So then Paige subbed in for that episode, and all of the fucking comments are, we want Brooke, you're replacing Brooke, you just jumped ship so fast, yada yada yada. And it was literally just one episode.
Yeah. And I also want to be clear, it wasn't because the way it sounded was almost like Brooke needs a second, or needs a week. I just wanted to really intake the situation and understand what was happening, and it just didn't feel appropriate for me to sit down on the couch so soon.
I said this in the episode that we shot, and I'll probably keep referencing that, but I'm just reiterating how I've been feeling. And call me the fucking villain for saying this, okay? People might not like what I'm going to say right now, but I think that the situation was very much damned if you do, damned if you don't. If you and I sat down and filmed an episode and it went out and we were just on the couch talking about anything at all.
Yeah, I think it would have been really distasteful.
So angry at that. So then it's you film with Paige and people are mad. It was just one of those where I felt
Yeah, and we should clarify beforehand. Tana and I, obviously, we were communicating about it, and I told her, I'm listen, I understand you need to say that what I said was wrong. Of course, because it was so wrong.
This was the following week's episode where it turns out Brooke is back. The canceled podcast is back and is not getting canceled. And apparently everybody misunderstood Tana because she was just meant to give Brooke a breather before coming back. Give her a week off. But that is now where everything currently stands as far as I'm aware. Do with that what you will. If you watched the whole way through, I cannot express enough how thankful I am for that. Thank you so much. This was a much bigger endeavor than I ever imagined it to be. It has taken way longer, and the story kept spiraling, starting with Brooke calling out Clinton calling out Brooke, and then all the racist tweets. It was a lot.
It was a lot. I originally only planned to cover Brooke calling Clinton out, and yet here we are like 5 more chapters deep. Crazy. And I hope the audio is alright, because I recorded it at different times, and I'm sure there are some times where I'm talking a lot quieter, and other times I'm talking louder. And right now, I'm sick, so my voice doesn't sound right like the other recordings either. So we're just getting it done, people. We're getting it done. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. What were your thoughts? I never imagined it would spiral into all of this. What did you think? Leave a comment, and thank you for watching. And I will see you in the next one.